The old coach turned 73 years young today. It is Halloween on other parts of North America. Welcome into Three Man Front. Pat, Conrad, Molly, and Landrum will be with you until 2 o'clock today. Rodney Orr, Rob Pate, Brett Norsworthy, and a cast of thousands will be a part of this show today. We welcome your phone calls at 1-800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450. That is the courtesy text line. It's good to see Conrad upright. It was a very rough night for him. It's been a rough season for Alabama football. And now, of course, the Yankees, they threw up on themselves last night, and they give up 5 runs when they're up 5-0. Garrett Cole knocking them out left and right, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Unfortunately, the Yankees, they dressed up for Halloween a little bit too early and pretended to be a postseason baseball team that was going to be able to threaten to win a world championship, and it just didn't happen. It breaks my heart for Conrad.
No, it doesn't.
How far did your team make it this year?
No, they didn't get very far at all. But yeah, it breaks my heart for you guys. And it doubly breaks my heart because the Dodgers are hoisting another championship, and one that we cannot say happened during a pandemic season that was cut short.
What are you gonna, like an airplane hangar?
Is it loud back there? If I need to turn it off,
You can
I will.
definitely hear it.
No, it's not bad. It's like white noise. It's good. It's comforting.
Well, I was told, oh yeah, you can't hear it over the radio. It's like, okay.
No, it's
Apparently that's not the case.
that's something I could sleep to.
I mean, it's like
Maybe
a
that's not good.
sauna in
Maybe
the
turn it
control
off.
room.
It's a little hot in here.
Yeah, that nice quarter zip from 18 South. You might be.
I'll be
discarding
shedding
that.
it very soon.
Are you wearing a tank top underneath? Please tell me you are.
No, I'm not. I resisted the urge.
I thought about wearing my Larry Bird jersey, no sleeves, but I decided nobody needed to see that. So, happy Halloween, everybody! Happy birthday, Nick.
Yeah,
Coach.
Nick Saban, 73 years young today. So the Yanks jumped out to that 5-0 lead. You're feeling pretty good, I imagine, after the first inning.
Felt great. Aaron Judge hit a home run.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, all right. This is what we needed.
But the 5th inning was just a nightmare. Errors by Judge in center field. It's amazing how Judge can make that incredible catch up against the wall when Freddie Freeman hit that, and then he drops a little fly ball in center field.
Yep.
Volpe, his error at shortstop, just kind of opened the floodgates. And, of course, Garrett Cole. Remember, the first thing they do in spring training is the pitchers covering first drill. Garrett Cole must have been absent that day when they practiced that in spring training.
Because that was Bill Buckner levels of bad last night.
With the drop fly ball, I was thinking, I wonder if Conrad is thinking right now, this is bad juju of what happened last night with the fan interference with Mookie Betts.
I actually didn't think that, but that would have been fair. I'd been, okay, well, they got one back, and, unfortunately, that just kind of was the first domino to fall.
So sack flies in the 8th inning, and so the Dodgers take the lead, and they win it. The final 7-6, and they take the series. You weren't swept. That's good, I guess.
Hey.
Yay.
You lose 4-1. Of the 234 teams to trail by 5 or more runs in a World Series game, the Dodgers became just the 7th of the 234 to overcome that and win the game. Plus, they become the first to do so to clinch a World Series title.
It's impressive.
You want one more stat to kind of make you go into the offseason a little bit irritable?
Not really, but you're going to give it anyways.
Yes, I am.
We want it.
Last night's game was the 48th time as a member of the New York Yankees that Garrett Cole had been slated with at least a 4-run lead as the pitcher. The team had been 45-2 until last night.
Oh, well, at least it wasn't unprecedented.
So it's the 3rd time that has happened.
Yep. Look, I can handle losing, and losing's fine. It's part of sports. It is what it is, but it's just when you lose games because you don't cover first base, you drop a can of corn, you have 2 guys on special teams wearing the same number.
It's been kind of that kind of fall for you.
There's a trend, unfortunately, and it's fundamentals are important, kids. There's a reason that you practice.
So let's go back to last year once the World Series had concluded. Las Vegas said the Atlanta Braves was the team to beat. They had the best odds to win the World Series after last year's World Series at 7-1. The Dodgers came in with the second best odds at 8-1. The Astros and the Texas Rangers at 9-1, and the New York Yankees 12-1. So that was last year. So Yankees Dodgers World Series, Vegas pretty much got it right.
Mm-hmm.
The Braves, not so much. World Series odds for next year, for 2025. Dodgers are plus 325 on the money line to repeat as the World Series champions. The Yankees come in with the second best Las Vegas odds at plus 750. The Braves come in with the third best at 8-1 odds. Then Baltimore and the Houston Astros come in at 12-1. So those are your top teams, according to Las Vegas, potentially to win the World Series next year.
Well, if the Braves can stay healthy, I like being, I guess, third as far as odds. But with the Dodgers, you never know. Who are they going to add?
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto, probably. Get another arm, another ace in their starting rotation.
Probably get Max Fried. He's a Southern California guy.
I'm sure Paul Skeens is
it never
available.
ends with those cats.
They'll go and trade, somebody for Paul Skeens and go and just terrorize everybody again.
Which makes it remarkable that this is only their, second World Series in how many years?
Yeah.
That they've won?
Yeah, and you could tell, if I've sat there and watched the post game, and unfortunately, and you heard multiple Dodgers players essentially say, they were glad that they got that one because they had heard that no one really gave them credit for 2020 and the COVID year, and so now this was them kind of affirming that they actually are good. Well, when you spend that much money, you should be that good. So, but same goes for the Yankees. So.
That's one thing that I will say about Nick Saban and the Alabama dynasty. You never heard Nick talk about, well, nobody respected us. Nobody thought we could do it. Like Kirby. Every time you turn around, Kirby Smart is saying that crap. Well, nobody believed we'd be here. Oh, no, nobody believed in us. Okay, just as long as you're telling your guys in the locker room and they're believing that BS, fine.
You never heard that
Whatever.
from Dabo either.
No, he was the king of it.
He actually taught the class on it.
Yeah, he's the one that wrote the book on that.
We get that from the Chiefs after the Super Bowl last year. Oh, no one thought we were going to win. No, I think we all did.
Yeah, that's just
everyone did.
Outside of your local market, nobody believes that.
There was a creative coach that convinced you that everyone was saying
Correct.
that, but nobody was saying that.
Absolutely.
Don't fool yourself.
Nope. Mr. Motivators. No question about it. So, and teams now get ready 5 days from now at the conclusion of the World Series. That's when free agents will become available. Teams will have a very short window to negotiate deals with those free agents. If they do not accept a qualifying offer or a new contract with their current team, they will become free agents, and that's when the fun will begin. And then the general managers meeting, I think it's in San Antonio coming up in about 10 days. So that's when it really kind of gets started. And then you'll have the winter meetings where obviously trades will be established and things of that nature. So Major League Baseball coming to a close last night with the World Series. Did you happen to have on your secondary screen Jacksonville State last night? You probably didn't.
I did not.
You did not.
I'll be honest. I did not.
Jacksonville State has all of a sudden won 5 games in a row. And their running attack is pretty special. On the Bill Clark show that you can hear tonight at 6 o'clock, he has been telling me and Landrum over the last couple of weeks that Jacksonville State really got their act together offensively. They're playing better defense. And last night they knock off Liberty 31-21. So I think Kennesaw State has broken Liberty because Jacksonville State goes into Liberty. They knock them off by 10. But Trey Stewart, if you have not watched this young man run the football, he is special. Last week against Middle Tennessee State, he ran for 210. Last night, he ran for 232 yards, the 4th most in the history of Jacksonville football. That's pretty special. He has now rushed for 12 touchdowns in his last 4 games. Jacksonville State has now tied Army for the most rushing touchdowns in all of college football. They have 31 after last night. Very impressive. They tallied 363 yards against Liberty. It's the 4th straight game by reaching the 300-yard mark, rushing, that is, for Jacksonville State. So, and on top of that, they ended the nation's 5th longest active home winning streak. Liberty had won 12 in a row, and as I mentioned, it's the 5th straight win for Jacksonville State. So they're playing really good. They're now 4-0 in Conference USA, 5-3 overall. It's a very good team, and Rich Rodriguez has really got those guys playing well.
Don't think you're going to hear too many Auburn fans asking about Caden Salter in the portal anymore.
No, not so much. He did not look good at all last night.
Aside from Don, I never heard a whole lot of Auburn fans asking about Caden Salter.
I feel like it was more last off season. It was just one of the, when you're just kind of looking at who's available and the obvious Liberty connection. But yeah.
So did any of you
been
guys
rough.
play that in the OFP last night?
I did not.
I did not either. Did you?
I
Didn't
did.
play any games last night.
I'm 2-0 this week.
Good for you.
And then I also loaded up in the LV with the money parlay with the Dodgers. And I paired that with the under of Jacksonville State. So it was a very, very good night in the Smith house.
Somebody from Montgomery texting in on the text line 205-834-9450 and says, play the Dodgers on the money line, Kennesaw plus 24, and Jacksonville State under 64.
Yes,
Good night.
very much so.
That's what we call the trifecta.
Yep. So Western Kentucky, that was a 24.5, 25-point spread.
Yeah, I think it was 24.5.
Yeah, not sure.
So Kennesaw covers last night as Western Kentucky wins that 31-14. So Western Kentucky now 4-0 in Conference USA. So them and Jacksonville State both tied atop of that. Tonight we've got Tulane at Charlotte. You can watch Biff Poggi and his cut off T-shirt, his big old arms tonight.
What if you wear sleeves because it's Halloween?
Oh, just
to
to
do
kind of fool
something
people?
different?
This
Yeah.
is my costume for the night.
This is my costume. I'm going to hide my, I don't know if you call those, well, arms. Just arms.
I would call them arms.
No, I
They
was
are
going to say
arms.
something else, and I stopped short. So, yes, hide the upper part of my arm.
But Charlotte is 2-2 in the American Athletic Conference.
Charlotte is an improved football team.
Yes, they are. They're 3-5 overall. Meanwhile, Tulane, very good, led by outstanding running back Mekhi Hughes, who is a Huffman High School product. Faced him a couple times in high school a couple years ago, and this is a very talented individual. We saw him firsthand against UAB. He played a very good game against the Blazers here at Protective Stadium, so he came home and ran all over his hometown Blazers.
This is and they had a tough challenge last week because I did play that game in the office football pool at North Texas and took the over. There were a lot of points scored in that game, but you're right. Mekhi Hughes, just every facet of the game, whether it's special teams, whether it's defense, whether it's offense, Tulane finds creative ways to score, and they can come at you in bunches. John Summerall does an outstanding job, and sorry, Tulane fans, but somebody's going to scoop him up. He's going to get a big-time gig.
There's no question. And back to Mekhi Hughes, the thing that impressed me, and not a shot at Huffman at all, but he didn't have many pieces around him, including not a very good offensive line. So everything that he did as a running back, he did basically because of his athleticism and because of what he had. And so for him to get that great offer to go to Tulane and to have the success that he's having, that says a lot about him as an individual.
Well, I've got some good news for you bourbon connoisseurs out there because Twin Peaks and Hoover, they have extended their offer now going through the month of November, where they are proud to offer you an exclusive and extensive collection of incredibly rare bourbons, whiskeys, and tequilas there at Twin Peaks and Hoover. Plus, they have their barrel selects that are hand-selected right there by the team in Hoover just for you. So swing on by and visit our friends at Twin Peaks and Hoover now throughout the month of November to enjoy their offers of extensive or exclusive bourbons, whiskeys, and tequilas. They also sponsor our daily 3-man front Twitter poll question of the day. And for Thursday, do we have a spooky Halloween question, Molly?
Ooh, it's very spooky. So on this Halloween, as we mentioned earlier, Nick Saban turned 73 years old. So what holiday would you like your birthday to fall on? Would you like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, or New Year's Day? And it's pretty close right now. So right now, New Year's Day is winning with 36%, but Thanksgiving is up to 35.3%. Halloween with 21.3%, and only 7.4% voting for Christmas.
I could see that with Christmas because you don't want to double up with gifts.
gifts.
And
No. And Thanksgiving, it just seems like there's just so much, and you're expected to be in so many places.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween's a pretty good one. Mine's on a holiday. It's Cinco de Mayo, but I feel like Halloween is probably that's the way that I'll vote. Because New Year's Day, you got a lot of games going on.
See, my birthday's on January 5th, so it's essentially like having it on Christmas or New Year's. It's a different day, but it's all kind of jumbled together. It's like, okay.
I have the best birthday ever, not to brag. My birthday is September 3rd, which usually falls around Labor Day. So
Kick
sometimes
off
I
of college
wouldn't.
football.
Yeah, kick off of college football, and growing up, I wouldn't have school. It was great.
Of course, mine does fall on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
On certain years.
Certain years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's kinda like how
Iron
mine
Bowl
is.
week or Thanksgiving.
yes,
every
Yeah.
it's always Iron Bowl week or Thanksgiving for me. And it's just enough time between that and Christmas where I did not get completely screwed out of gifts.
Yeah.
You know, it's close, but I never had a problem with it because normally I was always out of school for my birthday. So
Mine, everybody's just getting hammered.
yeah,
See, my birthday growing up was always the day that you went back to school
Ugh.
after Christmas vacation.
that was always the worst.
Yeah, no, it was like awesome. I get to go back to school on my
Hey.
birthday. Yep.
Yeah, that's not good.
Mm-mm.
All right, we will open up the phone lines at 1-800-239-WJOX, the Courtesy GMC text line. Texts are already rolling in on this beautiful Thursday morning. We'd love to hear from you at 205-834-9450. This is Three Man Front on Jocks 94.5. We're wide open in this first hour of the show. If you would like to get a call in or a text message, we welcome that. Or a tweet at the @ Three Man Front on Twitter, X, whatever you'd like to call. This just announced out west. Boise State Athletics has just received a $25 million gift. It is the largest gift in school history, and it will go to the Broncos football program?
Oh, so nice of the Harsons. All that Auburn money.
Alan and Billy D. Noble have given $25 million to the Bronco football program.
Is that Barnes and Noble?
I have no idea. Alan and Billy D. Noble. They have given $25 million to Boise State Bronco football.
I thought it was Duty Noble.
Yeah.
Never mind. I thought that would get a laugh. It's okay.
There you go.
Just a little SEC baseball joke for everybody. That's all.
I knew where you're going.
Oh, I
just
know.
didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't laugh.
It's okay.
Didn't trigger the funny bone.
Just having a bad day
no.
today. It's fine.
Well, if you're going to any of the games this weekend, you need to go and check out the Pants Store. They are your one-stop shop for all things game day. They have a large variety of game day tops, shorts, skirts, rompers, dresses, and so much more. The Pants Store, they have a game day outfit for every team, whether you prefer to wear neutrals or the team colors. And they also have a game day outfit for every single one of your family members. And don't forget, if you're going into the stadium, you're going to want to get a clear bag. So shop online at thepantstore.com or in store at one of their 6 locations in Alabama.
So NFL prime time tonight. You can hear the game right here on Jocks 94.5 after the Bill Clark show, which airs at 6 o'clock. It'll be the Texans and the Jets. Houston is coming off a 23-20 win over the Colts, while New York dropped a 25-22 decision at New England last Sunday. The Texans are 6-2, but they are banged up big time. Nico Collins is not playing. Obviously, you lost Diggs for the season. They hold a 2-game lead atop the AFC South standings. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. Meanwhile, the Jets are 2-6. They're now tied with the Patriots for 3rd in the AFC East. They have lost 5 games in a row. And the last time I checked, I think this was a 2.5-point spread.
That sounds about right. Yeah, it's probably going to be a pretty ugly game. If you watched any of the Jets and Patriots game last weekend, you kind of know what you're signing up for. And I mean, hey, the Texans, even without Collins and Diggs, you still got Tank Dell and Joe Mixon and some other weapons there on offense. So,
And you still got the mess that is the Jets.
I was about to say, can you really bank on the Jets to win
Do you
now?
Do you really want to bet on the Jets
No.
-2
No.
against 81?
No.
But they are wearing they're debuting tonight. Black helmets, black jerseys, black pants
No,
for the Jets.
good for them.
Maybe that'll help. Do anything you can. By the way, Alan Noble was a potato farmer who invented
That's shocking.
drip irrigation system, and then he invested in 3 guys that founded Micron,
Okay.
and he made a boatload of money.
I remember the Micron PC Bowl. You remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can't tell you anything else about the company except they sponsored a bowl game.
Yeah.
That is
Alan-
shocking to think that someone in Idaho was had something
a
to do
drip
with,
irrigation system that was
with
more efficient than
potatoes.
anything else that was out there.
Yeah, $25 million. I wonder how much money Harsons have given. Think they've given any to Boise? Or you think their money's going to where their son's playing now at Idaho, right?
Idaho State.
Yeah.
Idaho State.
Mm-hmm. Maybe 50-50.
Maybe
Think
it's
so?
that, wasn't it the house that they were building there on the lake that's real pretty up there?
I was told that's what was happening out
Yeah.
there. Maybe that's where all the tweets are coming from after an Auburn loss.
Yeah, he's sitting out there with a warm cup of coffee.
Yep. Cheers to all the
admiring
winners
lake,
of the weekend.
knowing that his kids or his grandkids never have to work again after running a program into the ground.
I'll give him kudos, though. He finally did it on a weekend that Auburn won.
This is
Did he
true.
do it?
Yeah, he did it.
See,
did.
I don't follow him on Twitter.
did.
So
Does he ever get a Power 4 job again? I could see him getting a lower end, maybe Big 12 job.
that
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you're going to see him in the SEC or Big Ten.
No, I think a lower tier Big 12 game or Big 12 team. I could see that.
See, I could see him being like a Arizona State head coach one day or something
Like
that.
game planning X's and O's, that was never the issue with him. It was the fact that he thought he was smarter than everybody else, refused to recruit, and was terrible with people.
Yeah, it's not a good combination when you want to try to coach.
Yeah.
Those are going to be 3 minuses if you're heading up a football program, unless you're winning 12, 13 games a year.
But there's no doubt. I mean, not only did he just not have the relationships with people around the SEC or the state of Alabama from a recruiting standpoint, but he literally believed that he could outwit and outcoach Kirby Smart and Nick Saban. So,
well, he almost did it to Saban, but
I was about to say, to be fair, he got close one time.
yeah. Kirby, not so much. Phone lines are open, 800-239-WJOX. Also, the text line, 205-834-9450. Going back to Jacksonville State's Trey Stewart. Ryan says, I have Trey Stewart on my fantasy team. He put up 47 points last night. By the way, I'm 8-1 on the year. Right. Congratulations.
really good.
We appreciate it. This one rolling in. My birthday is on the worst day in U.S. history, 9/11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my sister has that birthday.
So did Bear Bryant.
Mhm.
Bear Bryant was born on 9/11.
Anthony, optimistic Auburn fan, says his birthday is July 3rd. So every year, his birthday is pretty exciting. He gets fireworks every year. Yeah, and just pretend that they're celebrating you.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what a lot of people probably do on New Year's Day. Everybody stays up late.
Yep. November 10th, out of school for Veterans Day. I'm a veteran. Best B-Day ever. Check.
It's another good one.
Thanks for serving our country, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Doug is asking why the New York bumper after their World Series loss. I'm not sure. That is a Conrad question. And Jimmy says, Conrad, you're too young to remember the 90s, but us lifelong Braves fans do. We didn't win this year, but we were all rooting for the Dodgers. Last night's game was pure bliss. You got 50 World Series trophies. You'll be just fine.
It's actually only 27, but no. See, I don't expect any sympathy when the Yankees lose. I'm just frustrated because, again, they
Just
lost.
the way they played.
Exactly. It's not the fact that they lost. It's the fact that they lost because they didn't cover first base. You missed pop-up, fundamental things.
It's the little things like shirt tails and being on time to meetings. It's the details, right?
Devil's in the details.
It certainly is. We continue here, 10:27 on three-man front on this busy Thursday. We do have Rodney Orr coming up with Tighter Insider. His customary spot at 11, Rob Pate talking Auburn and Vandy at 11:45, and the Southern gentleman, Brett Norsworthy, at 12:30. We open up the phones to you, 800-239-WJOX on this Hallows Eve. Three-man front and Jocks 94.5.
It's 1031, Jocks 94.5. Phone lines are open at 1-800-239-WJOX. When it comes to plumbing, always have a pro on standby. That's Iron Mountain Drains and Plumbing, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. They're family-owned and operated. Been telling you about them for a while. Whether it's faucet repairs, water heater maintenance, commercial plumbing, sewer line repairs, and so much more. One call will do it all. Iron Mountain Drains and Plumbing, 205-516-4927. Or visit them online at ironmountainworld.com.
Phone lines are open, 800-239-WJOX. Let's go to AJ. He's in Florida. Appreciate you listening on the app. AJ, welcome in. AJ. All right, AJ, we're going to put you on hold. Maybe you got something going on with your Bluetooth. Let's go to one of our favorite listeners, Dr. Mel. Dr. Mel, how are you?
Hey, guys. Good morning. How are you all today?
We are doing great, sir. Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed the World Series. Had to stay up a bit late last night, but well worth it. So, the LA Dodgers. I quick comment in regards to birthdays, and my birthday is July 3rd, and I tease people and have over the years. I was born July the 3rd at 11:58 p.m.
Oh, wow.
11:58 p.m. And I used to tease my mom when I was growing up. I used to say to her, why couldn't you hold on for 2 more minutes? What child come in the world with a 2-minute birthday? Guys, I was shortchanged from the get-go. But it had the advantages because the next day when it was the 4th of July, I had 9 siblings. And they would get perhaps one barbecue bone or a piece of chicken. I used to get a half a slab of rib and at least 2 pieces of chicken. So I wore that welcome out until I was 12 or 13. So, but, it had its perks. So, but a 2-minute birthday. But I'm blessed to be in this world and enjoy it. And just one note for Conrad. I said to Conrad when Alabama played Missouri that the Tide will walk out as victors. And of course, Vander came close. Didn't beat them, but they came close. But for Conrad, tell him to be at ease. I'm a Bama alumni myself. And the 23rd Psalm, and the Crimson Tide shall roll through the valley of death and come out winners. You all do a great job. Have a great day and roll Tide.
Thank you, Dr. Mel.
Appreciate it, Dr. Mel. Let's try AJ again. AJ, welcome in.
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. My phone was messing up there for a second.
That's okay.
But how would you guys like to be a talk show in New York City right now with that game last night, with the 5th inning, the way that went down? What would be the Alabama-Auburn equivalent of what Aaron Judge has done with last night and that whole series just being a total, joke, and then he blew it. I mean, that whole 5th inning was just I don't ever remember seeing a baseball game where a team, it's 5 unearned runs, right?
Yeah. I would say the Auburn equivalent would be the Cal, Arkansas, and Oklahoma games earlier this season, all put together, and 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
In how many of those games?
Yeah, but Aaron Judge to be, arguably the top 2 or 3 best players in the game, getting paid what he's getting paid. You think they can survive this? Is Aaron Judge, is he persona non grata after that? After that performance?
He's got a lot to prove, that's for sure, because regular season, stats and MVPs are great and everything, but that's the not the expectation. He said after the game, he said this series is going to haunt him for the rest of his life, and it probably will, but you got to come back and hopefully next year or at some point you get another shot to kind of correct it, because this is how it went with A-Rod on the Yankees, right? For a number of years, they'd make the playoffs, he'd be bad, they'd underperform, and then the one year that he had a good postseason, they won the World Series. So maybe the same thing will happen with Judge.
Well, it happens in college football and it happens in the professional ranks. You can win all the games you want to during regular season, and you can win a conference championship, or you can win a division title in baseball or a league championship. And if you don't win the big one, and you don't win the World Series, and you don't win the college football national championship, that's going to haunt you for the rest of your career, whether you like it or not.
Freddie Freeman is the complete opposite. I don't know. He earned his entire contract. that World Series. I mean, everything else, I mean, it was already worth it. It's unbelievable.
We'll have a portrait, a plaque, whatever they do at Chavez Ravine. He will have one day. That's for sure.
So.
Thank you.
They should make a
the veneers.
Mm-hmm.
That, padded, of course.
Yeah.
Like Aspen Dental or National Dental Chain.
Yep.
Super Poly Grip.
With any of what I just said.
Let's go to Chris. Chris, welcome in.
How you guys doing this morning, afternoon? I'm sorry.
We're doing okay. How are you?
Roll Tide. It's all good. Other than having my tit for tat, Damien and Daly. I'm pretty sure I quote tweeted you about that. USA women's soccer team won that game 3-0. But if we'll take our time to have a quick look at the men's soccer, USA men's soccer team, and see they once again shat on themselves. That's.
We appreciate the phone call, Chris. We'll continue with your text, 205-834-9450. Nick Saban's birthday today. That is part of our Twitter poll question of the day presented by Twin Peaks. This text rolls in. This is not my birthday, but what about those born in a leap year on February 29th? Now, those are special and unique people. Do you guys know individually anybody who was born on leap year? I don't.
I don't either.
Guess we do now. Thanks for listening.
No, but you always had that kid in school is be like, oh, your birthday's on a leap year, so you're only 3 years old or what, whatever.
Justin texts in, my birthday's July 4th. My parents always told me the fireworks were for me. Easy birthday present.
There you go. Very nice.
Doug says the 2010 comeback for Auburn is the closest equivalent of last night's game.
Yeah, similar.
Listen up, Conrad. This one says the Yankees did not lose because of Judge's error. The Yankees led 6-5 after the error and lost 6-7. Excuses, excuses, excuses. I'm just reading the text.
I mean, no, he didn't single-handedly lose them, but I think if you were to blame one player for their performance this postseason, it would be him, and it should be.
Kyle says my birthday is mid-June, near my anniversary, so some years it's my B-day. The next day is Father's Day. Then the next day is wedding anniversary. Trifecta of celebration.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That's a lot.
That's a week right there. Just go ahead and take the whole week off, right? Text rolls in. Favorite Halloween birthday is my son, Sergeant Jeremy J. Horton, United States Marine Corps, serving our country. God bless him. God rest his soul. He said, by the way, tell Conrad it could be worse. I'm a Rangers fan.
You just won a World Series.
Well, he could.
Granted,
what if he means the New York Rangers?
And to be fair, well, that was rough. To be fair, the Rangers had never won a World Series, so I'm sure that was very bad. But
is this making you feel better?
No. I appreciate everyone trying to help me out, though. I really do appreciate that, but it was bad last night.
This one comes in January 1st. Birthday. Miss being the first baby born in Alabama in 1968 by 3 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Somebody needs to lie on a birth certificate if you're that close.
I mean, come
right.
on.
And Drake, a big Florida fan, says he's concerned about DJ Lagway's youth going into this game. You know Kirby will throw everything at him, Pat. Yeah.
Yeah. But we've also seen him make some spectacular plays.
He faced a pretty good defense in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, Tennessee's got a better defense than Georgia.
And Kentucky's was pretty good as well.
Tim says, Landrum, how disgusted are you that we lost Freddie Freeman from the Braves? That wish they would have opened the checkbook and kept him. Do you think the Braves front office is kicking themselves? No. He had plenty of opportunities. They offered him a pretty sweet deal, but they didn't want to give him that extra year. No. I have no regrets. We won a World Series with him.
And Matt Olson's a pretty good replacement. I know this
not
year.
Not as consistent at the plate this year.
No.
We need more from you, Matty-O. Keep the text rolling in on this Halloween Thursday here on Three Man Front. 205-834-9450. Rodney Orr at the top of the hour. We'll continue with your text, your comments, more college football. Jocks 94.5.
And see, now every time I hear this song, I like this song by Fleetwood Mac, but every time I hear it, I think of Will Ferrell. Kind of ruined it for me.
Why?
You've never seen Will Ferrell's commercial for PayPal?
I guess not.
I don't
You've
think I have
never
either.
seen it?
Oh my gosh, it's like it airs.
They play it
all the
3
time.
times in one commercial break.
Huh. I guess, I'm normally on my phone during commercials, so I'm not really paying attention, but okay, I'll go YouTube it.
So I'm glad you feel the same way.
Yes. And that is a good song, but you're
Like
right.
when I saw it the first time, I said, this is a really cool spot. I mean, it's it's Will Ferrell.
Yep.
Funny guy. Good stuff. And then all of a sudden, when it plays every other commercial. What's the other commercial that really drives you crazy that they will not retire yet? And for me, it's during a college football game. It's the stupid coach in the locker room with the crackers.
I'm feeling the cheesiest.
Oh, yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, with the
Stop.
Cheez-It thing.
Please.
It was cute for one football season.
And it's aired for like the last 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It has to go away. Matter of fact, I will not buy that product just because it irritates me. So you're having the opposite effect on a consumer.
So you go with the cheese nips?
Yes.
I'm not a member of my family, but we go to their house and they buy the cheese nips. And I'm like, really? You're going to buy the cheese nips?
I don't think I've ever had cheese nips.
No, that's the other brand. It's like the Oreos versus the Oxen, whatever. What are those? Hydrox.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. You don't get that little bit of burned
Yeah.
on the cheese nips.
Or instead of Dr. Pepper,
They're
you
more
go
uniform.
Dr. Thunder from Walmart.
Okay, well, yeah, that's... Yeah.
Our friends in North Alabama, that Sunkist, or not Sunkist, but Sundrop.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What is Sundrop?
Soda.
It's a drink.
Remember Diet Right?
Yeah.
It was good back in the day, I guess, if you like that kind of stuff. How about Mandu? You're going to love Mandu. And don't worry about if you want to diet, that's fine. But you can go into Mandu. It's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. We have Thanksgiving. It's less than a month from now. And we have all the holiday parties. You got Christmas and all of those other celebrations. You're going to be overindulging. Why not get a head start on your fitness? Drop some pounds in the process so you look great for all of those family pictures. Mandu, electrical muscle stimulation fitness. You're going to go into Mandu. They're going to put you in a suit, hook you up to a machine that sends electric pulses to various parts of your body. Whether you're trying to add more muscle, lose body mass, or you're just trying to feel better, you're going to get it done. And it only takes 15 minutes because of that technology. 15-minute workout, that's all you need. All kinds of specials here on the last day of October. You can take advantage today. Go to mandu.com, or you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Mandu Homewood. Paul and the gang, they're going to take care of you. Your first visit is free. They'll put you through the workout just 15 minutes. That's all it takes, a 15-minute workout. You're going to get results, I guarantee it. Mandu Homewood, check them out. Tell Paul and the gang that Landrum from 3 Man Front sent you.
I think this is an easy question. You guys will get this right. If there is a program in America that if they're doing a weekly press conference and a topic of punting comes up, what program most likely is discussing the punter?
Molly can answer. She looks very excited.
Is it Iowa?
Why would you not answer it? I thought you would be the first person to mention Iowa.
That should have been your. Yeah.
Well, I was looking around everybody else to see if they were as excited as I was.
Okay.
No.
She was
There
very
was no
excited.
excitement.
So not only did they talk about the punter
You're going to like this, Molly.
at the University of Iowa, apparently he's very good, which is not shocking in the least, but it got a little weird. This is what Kirk Ferentz had to say at his press conference about the punter.
He's trying to do things every time he gets his hands on the ball. Reese, it's kind of funny. I was thinking about that in the shower this morning. I don't know why. I think of weird things in the shower all the time. But I was thinking about, what he was doing and some other options we might have had as a punter.
Okay, who wants to go first? Who wants to talk about the Kirk Ferentz and the things he thinks about in the shower, including his punter?
Yeah, you don't ever want to say that you're thinking about another man while you're in the shower, ever. I would
No,
just
that's a place
leave.
for peeing.
I would just leave any thought that you have while you're in the shower. I just wouldn't add that you were in the shower. Just say this morning over
Right.
coffee. Embellish a little bit. We'd be better for it.
Yeah, I was not expecting that, but that was hilarious.
He's pretty proud of that.
This
He
goes.
was. He
This
was.
goes back to awkward Iowa press conference moments because you remember.
Cade McNamara.
Yeah, that was
a lot.
a lot.
So just listen to the very first part of this again.
No, they're going to be
the very first part of it. Listen to what he opens up and says.
He's trying to do things every time he gets his hands on the ball.
Yeah. Good thing he didn't pluralize that.
Oh.
That would have been even more awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not walking that one back.
All right, let's hear the whole clip again in its entirety. This is Kirk Ferentz talking about his punter.
He's trying to do things every time he gets his hands on the ball. Reese, it's kind of funny. I was thinking about that in the shower this morning. I don't know why. I think of weird things in the shower all the time. But I was thinking about, what he was doing and some other options we might have had as a punter.
And did you notice that nobody that's covering the press conference, nobody laughed?
They kept it cool.
I mean, everybody was just like, what did we just hear him say? I think of weird things in the shower.
It was like he was expecting a laugh after he said, I think of weird things in the shower, trying to explain it away.
But I think everybody that covers them probably goes, yeah, it makes sense.
Well, I was thinking if I'm covering an Iowa press conference, I'm probably daydreaming about doing something else. So maybe they just didn't.
While in the shower or just anything?
Literally anything.
Yeah.
Literally anything.
So, yeah, Kirk Ferentz talking about his punter.
In the shower.
Man, I should have worn my Iowa grandpa shirt today. Like I did last Halloween.
A lot of people disappointed in you not dressing up today.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
you're the youngest member of the show, and you're still in the Halloween spirit.
she's running around the office the last, what are you going to be for Halloween? What? And she shows up wearing her
Well, no one
Nebraska.
dressed up, so why would I dress up?
Well, we were gonna dress up, but then we heard that you weren't, so we
No.
all put these
There was
normal
no
clothes
reason
on
for
before.
us
We
to
I
do
threw
that.
out the idea of a few weeks ago. We could have come as Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, but then we got to draw straws for who gets to be what president, and then it gets,
We would have to walk 4 wide all the way down the hall. We'd just stay together the whole time. It'd be
That wouldn't-
problematic. We'd have to get somebody to run the board.
No, that could have been a good idea though.
No, I thought it was pretty good.
It was. It's funny.
Or a boy band, and Molly could have just.
Ooh, we could have all gotten frosted tips.
Hey, check out see if you got any because the text messages that I'm getting after playing that audio,
Yeah.
and the things that people think about in the shower.
Nothing there. I will cautiously go to my phone. I got text here. Can't really read them.
I'm not going to read the individual. They said, great. Now I'm thinking about friends talking about his punter in the shower while I'm in the shower.
Oh,
I got another text saying what they think about while they're in their shower. And let's just say it's not football.
Well, it's basketball season now, so the mind wanders.
It is a sport, but it's not one that we talk about on the show.
I think about my water bill. I try to go with a more efficient shower because my wife likes to run it for like 20 minutes. She has like a pregame water running just to make sure that it's first world problems. Somebody texts in and says, do you think he pees in the shower like Conrad? I don't know. That would have been a great follow-up question.
I don't know. Real men do, so.
If friends would have said, while I'm in the shower and I'm taking a leak, I was also thinking about my punter.
And
I
here
would
we go.
respect that.
Here we go.
I would respect that.
I just concentrate on aiming for the drain, thinking about how does Conrad pee on his feet in the shower while I'm in the shower.
Well, I don't pee on my feet.
Well, I thought you said you did because that way
Because it just runs down.
it would disinfect any kind of fungi you have on your feet.
No, I'm talking about, if my feet, when you're in the water and it gets all mixed up and you're just.
It took a minute. Maybe Kirk Ferentz
Never mind. I didn't know the words for that.
did too many waffle stomps and it's affecting his thinking.
Mess with your head. The fumes. Get to you.
Steve from Tuscaloosa said, I really enjoyed the Price is Right segment y'all did yesterday. Please make that a regular feature on the program. That is had somebody at church that said that they were in offices all day, but the one part that they were able to listen to, it was a Price is Right segment. He said, I need more of that.
Okay. We'll
So
try to see
thank
if we
you,
can't do
Steve.
that.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for-
Eric. Hastings
Good job,
says
Pat.
Conrad pees on his feet to wash off the residue from stomping waffles.
Well, I would do that if I stomped waffles, yeah.
This one from North Carolina. Yeah, serial peer. Drake says, can you tell the difference between Dr. Pepper and Mr. Pibb?
Yes.
I can.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
We're all over the place here. I love it. Garrett Cole pitched real good, but if he covers first on that play, third out with no runs having scored, still a 5-0 lead, Game 6 Friday.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But, I mean, again, for the circumstances and everything that happened, for him to come out and go almost 2 innings after that and shut out the Dodgers and give the Yankees a chance, it was very impressive. But, yeah, gotta cover first.
Another one, Price is Right segment was awesome.
Glad everyone enjoyed it. We'll try to do that again.
I like segments that I can win.
I will come with a new strategy next time. Was a little bit surprised, though, at some of those prices.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But as our buddy Scott from Long Island texted in, the key is going across the street, hitting the food trucks or the Mickey D's and getting a bucket of PBR, then going into the game and yelling at Garrett Cole and Aaron
Wasn't
Judge.
there like a Church's or a Kentucky Fried Chicken across from Turner Field
Ooh.
on the backside?
Yeah, that seems right.
So I think I went over there a couple of times and got some chicken before going in to Turner Field.
Well, now you've got plenty of food options
at the
outside of
Battery.
Truist.
Right.
But you're going to pay
But
for it.
I'm talking about back in the day.
But yeah, back in the day, I think you're right. Yeah. Rodney Orr. Wonder if he dressed up for Halloween.
Maybe his old 70s disco outfit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Back in his days in Texas.
Corpus Christi days.
Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
When you used to slay. I know, Molly, right? Rodney's next.
It is 11 o'clock here on Three Man Front, Jocks 94.5. Take us along with wherever you go. Jocks 94.5 app, or you can watch the show on YouTube. Just search Jocks 945 TV on YouTube. We are streamed every single day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Jocks 94.5.
Well, if you have an older roof and you're thinking it may need to be replaced, listen up before you do that. Our friends at Roof Max of Hoover have a professional and affordable roof treatment scientifically proven to reduce the aging process of your asphalt roof. This is how it works. Roof Max resaturates your old, dirty, dry shingles with a natural, bio-friendly treatment that can give you 5 more years of protection guaranteed. So instead of replacing your roof, the average cost of that is $15,000 to $20,000. And without insurance kicking in, you're coming out of pocket. You can pay pennies on the dollar with this effective treatment that's going to extend the life of your roof. Get a free roof assessment, Roof Max of Hoover. Call or text them at 205-913-2243. That's 205-913-2243. Use promo code JOCKS for the 10% discount and get the free roof assessment. Once again, Roof Max of Hoover, 205-913-2243. Make sure you tell them Landrum from 3 Man Front sent you.
So Alabama taking a few days off this week before they got back on the practice field in regards to them getting ready for the LSU Bengal Tigers. Joining us on the Buyers Right hotline from Tider Insider, joining us is Rodney. Rodney, happy Halloween and happy Nick Saban birthday.
You know what? You're right. It is Nick Saban's birthday, 73, right?
That's right. Isn't that crazy to think last year at this time, everybody's celebrating number 72, not having any idea that was going to be the last time that they would celebrate a birthday as the head football coach at Alabama.
Yeah. It was, you and I talked about that quite a bit. And,
yes, we did.
It was kind of a process, and I know a lot of people think that it happened quickly, but, things like that generally happen over a period of time. So, but yeah, it is what it is. And now, Kalen DeBoer, we're in an off week right now, as you mentioned, and thankfully coming off a win over Missouri.
What was the most inspiring thing that you saw in that 34-0 win, Rodney?
You know what? I tell you what, I think it was just consistency. They played cleaner. We've talked about it repeatedly here on this segment, just how Alabama, the avoidable mistakes that they were just not avoiding, right? I mean, they were just doing things that I think hurt themselves in a lot of games, whether they won or lost. They were continuing to make a lot of the same mistakes. And I think just playing clean. I mean, you can take Jalen Milroe, for example. I know his numbers weren't great. He missed some opportunities, but at the same time, he didn't turn the ball over. I think in the previous 3 games, he'd turned it over 6 times. So I think just playing cleaner football was something that was good to see. And I thought there was a better, when you kind of look at the way they started running the ball there in the second half especially, you kind of felt like you sensed the team. And again, I don't want to say coming together, but you sensed that they took a step in a positive direction.
And talking about that positive direction, I think a lot of people watching this football team, they get excited because of the numbers that's put up offensively, but you got to run the football. And with the Tide having 271 rushing yards against Mizzou, I think that's what excited the fan base, not only that you dominated an opponent and shut them out, but it looked like that there are signs there that this offensive line and the running attack can move forward and be successful.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought it was more balanced, even though, again, not a ton of carries for Jam. He had 11. Justice had 8, I think, and Milroe chipped in 11 too. I thought Milroe was, used his legs effectively. It was balanced there, with the run game. I thought all those guys were productive. Jam had a couple of touchdown runs, had a couple of really nice runs. I think that, Justice had his best run in a while. I mean, that was a really good run. I think there's a lot of people that were saying, and I'm going by Tider Insider and all the responses they've had, that they questioned whether or not Justice was running with physicality. Was he running hard? Was he running soft? Well, he didn't run soft on that play. He trucked that guy.
No doubt.
And so that was a positive sign.
Rodney, do you think, speaking of the running game, I realize that you get a lot of those, whether they're designed or not designed runs that take away touches from Haynes and Miller by Jalen Milroe, but do you think there's more of an emphasis moving forward on Alabama concentrating on running the football?
I would think so. I think that really, they threw it, Milroe threw it 45 times, I think it was, at Tennessee. And, that's out of whack a little bit. I think for him, what they did this last game against Missouri, if they can keep him in that range and, kind of everybody around him contribute, play solid, run the football, do that. I think they're much better offensively when they have that kind of balance. I think it kind of fits more into his wheelhouse, so to speak. And so yeah, I would expect that like you said, that was an encouraging sign, and hopefully, they can take that. I think it creates a mindset too. I really do. I think, running the football like that, it creates a tough mental mindset. And I think that's something that this team, hopefully is this running game, they can continue to do that and build that.
Let's talk about the defense, Rodney, because obviously Kane Womack, he was taking a lot of darts early on in this football season. The defense, all of a sudden, they have forced 10 turnovers in the last 3 games. They shut out an SEC opponent for the first time since 2020, Alabama did. So your thoughts on where this defense goes from here as they get ready to take on one of the most prolific offenses in the SEC with Garrett Nussmeier and LSU?
Yeah, I think, it's kind of since that Vanderbilt game, we've seen them take a little step here, a little step there, and, coming together a little bit more defensively. Like you said, that's one of their top goals. That's one of the things about this defense. What they're doing is they want to create turnovers, and to be able to do that, it's been really, crucial. It's crucial in this last game. I will say against, let's be honest, against Missouri with Brady Cook, even though he played 5 possessions and all of those possessions ended in punts. I think that Drew Pine is clearly not a top-level SEC passer, I don't think. But, they did still create the turnovers. They held Missouri scoreless, as you mentioned. I thought they showed a lot of pride down there on the goal line by making that goal line stand. So hopefully, we'll find out a lot more against LSU. Because when Nussmeier, when they go down there to play him, the weapons that LSU has, the tight end they have, some of the receivers that they have, and they're not the greatest running team, but they can certainly light it up throwing the football. This defense will be challenged. We'll find out a lot more. I think it's going to be interesting to see. Can Alabama get pressure on him, because they do a great job of protecting Nussmeier.
Is that your biggest concern? Because that was going to be my follow-up, Rodney, as we peek ahead to next weekend in Baton Rouge. Is it Nussmeier, those guys that he's got at his disposal on the offense and versus Alabama secondary?
I think so. I really do. I think that, the way they can light it up and the way they can get hot. Now, one thing we didn't see in this last game was, and we've seen it, you guys know we've seen every game, it seems like there's guys once or twice during the game, maybe even more, running free for touchdowns. We saw it in the Tennessee game, wide receivers running free. They didn't connect. Nussmeier will connect. So I think but we didn't see, in the Missouri game, give them credit. There was really good coverage back there, I thought. And they've got great receivers, Missouri does. Burden's one of the best. Theo Weiss is really good. So hopefully, they're getting some things, even though they're been a little bit banged up in that secondary, getting some things ironed out, because this is going to be a real challenge with LSU.
So I asked you this question about recruiting and one specific individual, Caleb Cunningham, because this is a guy that he's a 5-star wide receiver. So many teams continue to try to recruit him, which I would too. He has verbally committed to Alabama. What are you hearing about him? You have cautioned us on this program for months, especially any kids that come out of the state of Mississippi. That's not a shot at them. It's just a fact, historically speaking. A lot of those kids that will verbally commit outside the state of Mississippi, they end up staying in the Magnolia State when it's all said and done. What kind of intel, if anything new, can you tell us? Because I keep hearing the people that I talk to around high school football that he is absolutely still a wild card out there and may not end up at Alabama.
I talk to people in Mississippi quite often about it. And they say basically what you just said. I mean, again, he's committed to Alabama. When he talks about Alabama, he says all the right things. People around him say all the right things if you're Alabama. But at the same time, his actions are something else in terms of taking visits, which that these guys are going to continue to take visits, most of them anyway, or a lot of them. So it's kind of like I said, how do you predict something like this? I think Alabama is in a good position, but at the same time, I'm not one that's going to say it's a lock by any stretch of the imagination. I think it was at Ole Miss again this last weekend, continuing to take visits. I know Auburn has continued to recruit him extremely hard, and others. I think LSU is continuing to recruit him hard. So you know what? It just has to play out, and we may not get a better feel for it until signing day morning.
Rodney, I know you see all kinds of crazy stuff on the message boards there at Tighter Insider. Your subscribers, what would you say the overall optimism is that Alabama runs the rest of the table regular season and makes the college football playoff?
You know what? They're pretty level-headed about that. Amazingly enough, they kind of they kind of taking it one at a time. I think everyone was encouraged. Certainly, it was a better maybe feeling. Certainly after the Missouri game, right? I mean, there was a little more confidence and hope that could potentially happen. And now I think then you watch LSU against Texas A&M. They have a tough loss, and of course it's a totally different game the way things unfolded with the quarterback that A&M put in. But I mean, I think it's more positive right now, but not like overly confident, if that makes sense. I mean, I think everyone kind of understands it's going to be a real tough deal. And then if they win that game, there's still other challenges. I mean, Oklahoma's got a great defense. You've got to go to Norman. Auburn seems to be coming on. They've lost some games that they probably should have won. They had a really good performance against Kentucky. So I think everyone right now is just saying, hey, we'll take this one at a time, LSU, and it's going to be a tough one to go down there to Baton Rouge.
All right, so since we're on Halloween and you're doing this segment, Landrum and I were actually talking about this during a commercial break. Do you remember going to any Halloween parties there in Corpus Christi when you were tripping the Light Fantastic back in the day?
You know what? In the 60s, in the 70s, early 70s, I guess when I trick-or-treated or whatever you want to call it, we didn't have parties.
What?
We just got a paper sack, from the grocery store.
Uh-huh.
See, we didn't get plastic bags. We didn't know what plastic bags were back then in terms of, we got the big paper sacks, and, we drew something on there, and we went house to house dressed up, and that was all we did. I don't ever remember. Now, they did have haunted houses. Yes, I went to one. There was a Catholic church that had a haunted house, believe it or not. Went there, and it was really scary. But no, I don't really remember any other parties like that.
Now, did you predate the parents or an older person, maybe a guardian, going through your candy to inspect that no one had put anything that was unsafe for you to consume in it?
That probably started when I was about 10 or 11 years old. And so you're talking about 1971. I remember, some incidents that happened. There were razors in apples or something like that.
That was the one.
And, yep. So there was some other things, too, that were even worse. You remember someone put cyanide in a pixie stick.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah. So, so it hit about the time I was 10 or 11 years old. So you have to be careful.
When I was a kid, anything that looked homemade, it went directly in the trash from Mom.
Yeah.
Mom was not. But the razor blades and the apples, that's something that we always were warned about. But I didn't eat the candy, so it didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you did a good job of inspecting. I guess when I was younger, 7, 8 years old, we never really thought about it, it was a different time, and but as you said, things changed, and it had to be really careful. Everything was inspected, as you said.
Do you guys remember the days when SEC football coaches actually got in the spirit? Tommy Tuberville dressing up as a clown with his kids, Dan Mullen as Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that anymore.
No, not so much.
So
then Eli
odd.
Drinkwitz going after Dan Mullen. That's good times.
Could you see Saban dressing up?
That'd be a negative.
What would be the perfect costume for Nick Saban?
Oh,
I don't know. He's pretty more laid back now. I mean, he likes to have more fun.
Yeah.
Now that he's doing ESPN stuff. So I don't know. You got any big plans for your bye week? Another bye week, 2 in 1 year. What are you going to do this weekend?
Well, I was talking to Conrad about that, and I said everyone needs a break, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just sit back and watch games, and like Conrad said, let everyone else sweat it out, Let everyone else sweat it out this weekend.
Yep.
So, yeah, just kind of sit back and watch some games and see how it all goes.
Yeah, you got to purge the message board before next week's LSU game.
That's right.
So you got to get ready for that. All right, Rodney, as always, we appreciate your time and enjoy the off week. And we'll talk to you next Thursday as we ramp up a preview of LSU and Alabama.
Thanks, Rodney.
Okay, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks very much. Buyers Ride Hotline that brings you Rodney Orr each and every week for all your insurance, financial, and HR needs. It's Buyers Ride Insurance, a Higginbotham partner.
We'll get back to some of your texts, some of the takeaways, what Rodney told us. Don't forget, Rob Pate talking Auburn and Vanderbilt coming up at 11:45. It's a Thursday, Halloween edition. 3-Man Front and Jocks, 94.5.
Always appreciate Rodney Orr joining us from Tider Insider. If you missed that interview, you can always download the 3-Man Front podcast. Rob Pate coming up at 11:45. The Southern Gentleman from Memphis, Tennessee. Brett Norsworthy will join us at 12:30. You see the warning signs, especially in this we've had. It's been, I think, 32, 33 days since we've had rain here in central Alabama. But you see the warning signs around your house, whether it's the windows or doors that sticks, the cracks or the brick or the block leaning or the bowing walls in your basement, settling or sinking of your house? How much time before a minor repair around your house becomes a serious structural damage that's going to cost you way too much money to try to get fixed? That's why you need to nip it in the bud today. Call APS for a free estimate, 205-951-9717. Foundation problems don't get better with time. They get better when you call APS, 205-951-9717, or visit their website at alabamaprofessional.com.
We visit the text line 205-834-9450. Ooh, how about this? Doug texts into the show and he says the poison candy is a myth, never happened, and stories never made sense. Fear-mongering. That said, it's a weird world and feel sorry for the loss of innocence of my early 70s just going to the neighbor's house as a group of kids. So I looked this up. Here's the AI overview of what Doug just said. The fear of poison candy in the 1980s, and that was the time that I was trick-or-treating, was fueled by a combination of media coverage, urban legends, Pat, and a crime ring in Japan.
I was not aware of the Japan angle.
I feel like we may have talked about this before, but so for tonight, do y'all live in heavily trick-or-treated areas? Or has that stuff already kind of been
Mine is one street
taken
over,
care of?
and it is chaos, but we're going to go and do something as a husband and wife. But yeah, we're going to keep our lights off. We're going to be away from the house.
Well, thank you for letting us know what your plans are this evening, Landrum.
Yeah. Yep.
He's got Gary next door. Gary's not going to let anybody step foot on his property.
No, trust me, that is not. That's
Well, and kids can't make it across the moat to Pat's front door.
Well, I was going to say, you guys have been to my house.
Well, you got a security guard. You get tased before you can get to the mailbox.
I live up on that cul-de-sac, and, kids trying to walk up the cul-de-sac and get over the moat. It's kind of problematic.
Hopefully no casualties this year.
Okay, so I did find out more on this crime ring. Do you remember this, Pat?
Japanese crime ring? I do not.
Crime ring called the Mystery Man with 21 Faces threatened Japanese candy manufacturers with cyanide if they didn't pay a ransom. While some candy was found to be laced with cyanide, no one died.
Also, Pat and Trustful, he texted me, and I remember this too. You guys are not old enough. Landrum, you might. But local hospitals used to offer the service of actually x-raying your candy to make sure that you did not have a razor blade or something that was in the candy.
See, I just always thought that was kind of an urban like something your parents said to not freak you out, but just to make sure that you were, being aware while you're out trick-or-treating.
A lot of candy apples went in the trash at my house.
Yeah, I can see that. That's crazy though, if all that stuff's true about the Japanese
I did not know that.
Man with 21 Faces?
Never heard of that one.
No, we learn something every day. Thank you, Doug, for the information. Our friend BB texts into the show. She said, when Saban's birthday hits, it just tells me my 73rd is just a couple of months away. Remember, your health is your wealth. I'm not getting older. I'm becoming classic. I never would have guessed that BB was almost 73 years old. You're looking great, BB. Keep it up. Hope to see you next Tuesday. This text rolls in. Dan Mullen looks like Cousin Eddie. No costume needed. That's fair.
Yeah, a little bit.
I guess the context would be Dan Mullen dressing up as Darth Vader, because this text reads Yoda with explanation points.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that would be that. Wait, so was it Dan Mullen that dressed up like Darth Vader, or Eli Drinkwitz that dressed up like Darth Vader?
It was Dan Mullen.
It was Mullen.
And then Eli Drinkwitz did his best Luke Skywalker.
Okay, that's what
because he came in with like a lightsaber.
Yes, okay. I was trying to remember who was who in that one.
Also, Pat from Trustful points this out, and I remember this too. Back in 1982, there was poisoning of Tylenol with cyanide.
I've seen that documentary.
And so that because of that, it almost canceled Halloween in 1982.
Yeah, the Tylenol murders.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a real
so a
thing.
bunch of people actually did die from that?
Yeah, because back then the medicines did not have
the tamper-proof.
Oh, you have to puncture through or what?
We were so trusting as a society. Mm-hmm. Were we not?
So is that why they made those? Because of what happened with the cyanide?
Absolutely.
I did not. I just assumed that was always there.
Nope. I mean, you had the child-resistant caps, But
There's no way to see if someone had opened it and tampered with it.
correct.
That's crazy.
Yep. But 1982 was the Tylenol poisonings nearly canceled Halloween.
How many people to kill? Like 5 or 6, right? I thought at least 5 or 6. I don't know. There's a documentary on it. This one reads, you can give me an apple on Halloween. I'm not checking it for razor blades. I'm throwing it at your front door.
For giving you a apple?
I feel like raisins were the worst. We used to have somebody in my neighborhood that would give out the little boxes of raisins, and that's it.
Yeah.
Come on, just don't hand out anything.
What if Nick Saban dressed up as Kirby Smart? Had the visor. That'd be cool. Saban should dress up as Dracula.
He could pull that off.
Yeah,
I
he
can
could pull
see
it
it.
off. Or if Saban was going to dress up, it would definitely be a combination dress up with Miss Terry.
Yeah, yes.
So
They would do a couples thing. I would think so. Yeah.
We think of a historic couple that
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I don't know why that was the first couple's costume that popped into my head.
JFK and Jackie.
Okay. Yeah. I could see that. Maybe they could be Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Bonnie and Clyde. That's a good one.
There
Thanks for
you
the
go.
text. I bet that would be right up Saban's
I could
alley.
see,
I could see
him
like
going
that.
the gangster route.
He'd
Yeah,
even
oh,
go
yeah.
and buy one of those antique vintage cars just to pull off the outfit. Have his
like
Tommy gun.
I like that.
Oh, now we're getting back on the poisoning. Yeah. 205-834-9450. Not that poisoning is funny. It's just I didn't know that we were going to go down that road.
So I know that you and I like similar candy, Landrum. Do you go like this weekend or tomorrow? Will you go and stock up on all the candy that's now on sale?
No.
Discounted candy.
I won't.
I just know you and I have the same proclivities for the same candy,
Yeah.
and that is a very common one to be marked down.
It's sweet tarts, and it's not the ropes. It's the sweet tarts.
just the regular sweet tarts.
Like the sweet
yeah.
tarts. Now, the chewy sweet tarts, those are good.
Those
if
are
you
good,
get
too.
the wafer size chewy sweet tarts, and you used to go buy those from Sam's in the individual, they'd sell them in the concession stand, and just the grape and the cherry, and
They're
that was
good.
the way to go.
They're
Not
very
not a big fan of the green.
I don't like the orange.
Oh, and Smarties. The real Smarties.
Yeah. Very sugary. I mean, it's candy.
My
but
taste buds are all out of whack,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Lots of texts coming in on Nick Saban costume ideas. We'll get to those throughout the show.
And coming up next on Three Man Front, Mario Cristobal's got the Miami Hurricanes. They are rolling big time. Did you hear what he said after the game? He had a message for the rest of the state of Florida and the recruits that he's currently recruiting to go to the south side of Miami. We will get into that and also read your text. Rob Pate at 11:45. This is Jocks 94.5. It is 11:31, Jocks 94.5. Pat Smith, Conrad Van Order, Molly Robinson, Landrum Roberts with you until 2 o'clock. Rob Pate will join us in about 15 minutes from now and talk about Auburn's big win at Kentucky. See if they can get a little winning streak rolling as they got Vandy coming up this weekend. You need to head out to Trussville. You don't need to drive everywhere else to go get a brand new GMC. Drive out there to Trussville. Short drive there, exit 32 off of I-459. They have got an incredible deal right now on the 2024 GMC Sierra. There's multiple to choose from there at the lot at Courtesy GMC. $15,000 off MSRP. The pricing on this hot elevation premium package with four-wheel drive, leather interior, sunroof, 20-inch gloss black wheels, blacked out accents on the vehicle. It's an incredible car, truck. You need to go by and see them. Great looking vehicle. They've got also incredible deals right now on the Yukons and the Yukon XLs. I was by the lot over the weekend. You've got plenty to choose from, no matter what kind of trim package to the colors. They've got it all right there with the Yukons, Yukon XLs, and that 2024 GMC Sierra up to $15,000 off. Before you head out there, you can go to courtesybirmingham.com. You can take a look at not only what is available now in the new car inventory, but also obviously a very good pre-owned selection as well. Incredible award-winning service department and body shop there on site. Go by and see them, located in Trussville, next to Lowe's on Edwards Lake Road, exit 32, I-459. Well, after the big Miami win, they remain undefeated over the weekend. Mario Cristobal had an opportunity to meet with the media, and he had a message for not only the teams in the state of Florida around college football, but the recruits he's recruiting there in South Beach.
All recruits in-state, out-of-state can now clearly see the trajectory of this program versus the trajectory of the other programs.
There you go. And that last noise you heard, Conrad, was him hitting the lectern.
That's when you know someone's fired up, when they get physical with the lectern.
It worked for the GOAT.
It did work for him. He was very good at that.
It was not so much a slam the fist down. He was more of a...
Yeah, you would get the ring tapping on the wood.
Yep.
Yeah, you got that a lot. I will give credit where credit is due. It's been a rocky road at times for Mario Cristobal here, as well as his time at Oregon, but what he said isn't wrong. I mean, in terms of the trajectory of the programs, there is clearly one that is head and shoulders above the rest, at least this year.
All right, so Miami is 4-0 against teams from the Sunshine State this year. It opened the season with a rout of Florida, and its most recent win was an easy win over Florida State. Miami has also dropped 50 in wins against Florida A&M and South Florida. So they're 4-0 against teams from the state of Florida. So Miami is in this position because it has accumulated talent better than Florida and Florida State. Cristobal knows that this has to continue for them to be dominant. So he took a moment, obviously, in that clip to communicate directly to not only the recruits and transfers who could come to Miami this offseason to continue to build that roster. Florida State went 13-0 last year. We all remember that. This season, they have fallen apart completely. You can't change a program in a year. It's done over time. It's accomplished when reaching number 5 in the AP poll is expected, not celebrated. Talking about what Miami has been able to do. Stacking talent is something that we hear that Hugh Freeze talks about a good bit at Auburn. A lot of people, I was talking to someone yesterday, an Auburn insider, and he was telling me that, if he can close with this recruiting class and continue to build that roster up, no matter what the final record is going to be this year, there's no pressure on Hugh Freeze for next year if he can close with that talent on signing day. But back to the stacking the talent. In the 2 recruiting classes since Miami's 42-point loss to Florida State 2 years ago, okay, just 2 years ago, the Hurricanes have signed classes that rank number 8 in 2023 and number 5 in 2024. In the 2025 cycle, Miami's recruiting class currently ranks number 10 nationally. 3 of its 22 commitments rank in the top 100 overall in high school recruiting. Florida State, meanwhile, their class ranks number 23 overall, and Florida number 33. So when he starts talking about acquiring talent, stacking the talent, continuing to build that roster, Mario Cristobal is finally showing signs that his plan is working.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive what they've been able to do. I mean, we'll see if they can finish out the rest of the season. I think a lot of people remember the Miami team a handful of years ago under Mark Richt, where it looked like they had really turned that corner and were about to compete at the highest level, and that didn't quite come to fruition. But this team feels different this year, and a lot of that has to do with Cam Ward and how special he has been. And that would be my big thing moving forward. If your Cristobal is, this is great, you have a lot of talent there. You got to hit on the quarterback position, though, because we've seen what a guy like Cam Ward has meant to a Miami team and how much he has elevated them to being a national championship contender, possibly.
It is so hard to believe, though, since 2004, you've had one double-digit win season at Miami. And that was a 10-win season.
And it was the Mark Richt year where you went 10-0 and then you lost the last 2 games. Wild.
I know that Miami has dropped off since the early 2000s, Pat, but I would have thought at least they would have had 2, 3, at least 10-win seasons.
And I'll tell you another thing that has benefited him greatly is that Nick Saban retired. A lot of people might go, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Go back and look at all those Alabama rosters.
A lot of those wide receivers, especially, where'd they come from? Florida.
That's right. Around the Miami, South Florida area. Amari Cooper.
Yep, Jerry Jeudy's from Florida, I believe.
Patrick Surtain.
Mm-hmm.
Going on and on and on. So with Nick Saban retiring and that pipeline kind of shut off a little bit, and now Mario being able to show that he's being productive on the field, that helps a lot. But being able to keep those kids and continue to develop, I think that's why you continue to hear Hugh Freeze talking about stacking the talent to be able to do that.
And yes, and if it does get to the point where your talent is just better than everybody else that you play, it kind of minimizes the need to be exceptional on game day. I think maybe the disappointing thing for Auburn fans is knowing you were equal to talent.
Yes.
With some of these games you've had this season, you had game where you're in position to win and you've let them get away.
And the other problem, or not problem, but the parity in college football, I think we all see what has happened because you're unable to keep all of the so-called talent in your 2 or 3 deep, because in the old days, your number 2 on the depth chart is going to get a great NIL deal, and he's now going to be a number 1 somewhere else, whether it's a Power 4 or Group of 5 school. He's going to get an opportunity to get on the field to play, and on top of that, he's going to make more money instead of being somebody's backup at an Alabama or Auburn. And so that's why you're seeing more and more parity around college football, because yes, Georgia is still very good, but you have seen injuries affect that football team.
Sure.
I mean, that football team was not 100% healthy when they were in Tuscaloosa. I'm not saying the outcome would have been different if they would have had those players.
And you're talking about a defensive lineman who's missing. How many years in the past, Pat, could Kirby Smart go, hey, next guy?
Same at Alabama.
5-star. Let's go.
Same with Alabama. I mean,
exactly.
Alabama would, the last couple of years under Nick Saban, you would have at least 15 guys leave, transfer, quit, transfer portal, whatever you want to say. But Alabama had no problems because they had the depth, because they had another 4 or 5-star ready to be plugged in.
And it's worth mentioning, talent does not always trump experience. But, man, to Cristobal and Hugh Freeze, if you can continue to develop and stack, you get the combination of talent and experience. That's rare these days in college football, and probably a recipe for a lot of wins.
No, I agree with that. And I think that's why you see a lot of coaches that have, while you have all the Lane Kiffins and Deions of the world that just focus on the transfer portal, it's why you've heard a number of coaches, Hugh Freeze being one of them, doubling down on how important recruiting is and how important it is to have guys that believe in your program, but also guys you can keep around and have those guys that have played 3-4 years of college football. And yeah, maybe there's bumps in the road as a freshman, but when they're juniors and seniors, you get to reap the benefits of that.
And it's pretty interesting because this weekend, Miami's playing Duke, and Manny Diaz was fired by Miami back in 2021. And now here's Manny Diaz facing his former school, but he has done a really nice job in year 1 at Duke. So that will be very interesting.
Well, as we move further away from the hot weather, your HVAC system worked overtime this summer, so make sure you're prepared for the months and years ahead with a Trane comfort system. Right now, Trane's Unstoppable event offers you peace of mind with a 10-year warranty on parts and labor with select Trane home comfort systems. To learn more, go and visit train.com.
All right, coming up in just a couple minutes, we'll find out what Auburn has to do this weekend to stop Diego Pavia. Rob Pate, former DB at Auburn, joins us next on Three Man Front. Coming up in just a matter of moments, Rob Pate will join us here on Three Man Front, get his thoughts on the Auburn Tigers as they got their first win in the SEC against Kentucky. And Diego Pavia, a very familiar name to Auburn fans, he will be in, Auburn. He's already taken out the team from Tuscaloosa, trying to make it a double for the Alabama teams this year.
Yeah, if you're going to be watching college football, maybe the NFL tonight, you got to check out Rambler Sports Bar and Grill there at the Finnick near Railroad Park. Not just tonight, but also tomorrow, college football Saturday. And don't forget, NFL fans, you get wall-to-wall NFL action on Sundays all the way through Sunday Night Football, NFL Red Zone, NFL Sunday Ticket. Great menu. Me and my wife, we got to get in there last weekend. It's an awesome setting to watch a game, the video boards, the projector screens, and just a great environment you're going to get right there at Rambler Sports Bar and Grill at the Finnick, 1630 2nd Avenue South. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Three Man Front sent you.
Joining us on the Buyer's Ride Hotline, he joins us every Thursday, talk a little Auburn and SEC football. Rob Pate, former outstanding DB for the Auburn Tigers, joins us now on Three Man Front. Rob, you kind of called it last week on the show. You were talking about what Auburn needed to do to get a win at Kentucky. You liked their chances, but Jarquez Hunter, a record-setting night there in Lexington.
Yeah, that was big for the team. And, just seeing the excitement and those guys having gone so long without a win in conference, being so close and finally just having things fall right for them. And really, overcoming some early adversity, too. That first quarter was not good at all. Auburn looked pretty bad early on and then just dominated from then on out. So, really, really excited for them. And I think what that does for the psyche as they step in the rest of these games, knowing that, look, it's Kentucky. I get that, but at the same time, that you never can tell Saturday to Saturday who's going to show up where, all across this conference and really all across college football. So, they just needed something positive to happen, and they finally got it, and I think that'll be a big shot in the arm for them.
So with that success that they had on the ground and what you said, I agree with 100%, Rob. Jarquez Hunter, you can't expect him to go 278, but the 23 carries, he still had gas in the tank at the end of the game. What is your game plan going into this particular matchup with a Vanderbilt team that ranks 9th in the SEC against the run?
Well, I think Auburn has always needed to be a team that leans on the running game. We're built that way from an offensive line standpoint. We struggle sometimes with pass protection and from stunts and games that are played across the defensive front with blitzing, secondary guys and linebackers. We just don't pick that up as well as we do be dominant and be physical in the run game. And you've got a running back, you've got a stable of running backs that have shown that they're fully capable of being able to pick up big yards given the opportunity. You still have to be able to throw the football, and Auburn did a good job of weaving that in. But even Hugh Freeze, he said in post game, how tempted he was to throw the ball, even with all the dominance you're having running it. It's just his nature, and I think Auburn people knew that going in. But just the tenor of this football team, they're young on defense, very young on defense, having to play a lot of freshmen, especially at defensive back. And then you have another one that you lost this week that got kicked off the team at a position of need. Auburn's got to control the football and try to limit offensive snaps on the other side of the ball. And I think that running it gives you the best opportunity to do that. So it's not sexy and it's not what, sells tickets, but at the same time, when you win, that cures everything. And so I think that's Auburn's best chance of getting the victory.
In regards to that defense and DJ Durkin, one area that they have excelled in is stopping the opposition. I believe they're a top 15 team in America when it comes to, I think, yards per carry. I think it's around 3 yards per carry that they're allowing when a team tries to run the football. Talk about what they were able to do, falling behind 10-0 in Lexington. I understand that this offense for Kentucky is not going to be confused with one of the best in America, but still, when you go on the road and Durkin's defense was able to bow up and get the stops when they needed to. Moving forward, how do you see this defense playing out the rest of the season?
I think what they've done defensively has been incredible because, we're not tremendously gifted with depth, especially in the trenches. We've got some guys that have come from places that, aren't elite recruits that stand out and scare you when they get off the bus. Linebackers, same way. Secondary, a lot of freshmen. And to start the games, Auburn has struggled. It's almost each game Auburn has given up either a long drive or points to begin the game, but then they clamp down and they make adjustments. And I think that's been his strongest point, is the ability to figure out what it is they're trying to do to attack us, where we're weak and we're getting hurt, and then fixing it, and then just stamping that out. They got stronger as the game went on, and I, as a former defensive player, you love those type of games where you got guys swarming, you got guys that are being playmakers. You don't feel like they can block you up front, That makes life so much easier for young secondary guys. So some guys up at the front, on the line of scrimmage have really stepped up their game. That's made everybody's life much easier, including DJ Durkin.
How much success can DJ Durkin in that side of the ball route, Rob, as a former defensive back, have against a guy like Diego Pavia that is explosive in so many different ways?
It's a good question. It's been a while since I've seen that guy, just have a bad outing. I love to watch him play, and I as much as it hurt as an Auburn guy watching them come in last year and just destroy us. He's still a guy that, he just has that type of savvy and the leadership capabilities and qualities. Just a playmaker. You can never give up on a play with this guy, and you can't assume that he's going to be tackled by somebody else or that he's not going to throw a pass in a tight window. He's just proven time and time again that he can get it done. So I think that Auburn can do a good job matching up with a spy for him. We've done that in a couple of occasions and have been successful with it. I think we can get some pressure on him. I just think he can't have the benefit of running the football himself. I think we got to take away the quarterback runs. If he beats you through the air consistently, then I think that you don't want that to happen, but you'd rather that happen than him have his way on the ground. And so I really think Auburn will load up and make sure that they get that run stop and see if he can beat them through the air.
I got to ask you a high school question because Auburn High School, one of the best teams in 7A football this year, you got the playoffs not starting this week, but next week as you guys will host Bob Jones. You're on the same side of bracket as Thompson High School. And then if certain things happen, I see a team from Birmingham Metro, Hewitt-Trussville, could possibly hook up with Auburn. That would be fun.
Okay. That would be. Yeah, it's Auburn's got a great football team this year. They've got a senior quarterback that can make all the throws, and he's tough, mentally tough, and physically tough. They've got probably one of the best running backs in the country. And a junior, Omar Mapson, he's already broken the single-season rushing touchdown record in only 9 football games this year. He is an absolute load and has offers from every SEC school out there. Their offensive line's full of seniors. I think that their area at the outside linebacking position, they're super physical. But we just haven't played a ton of teams that can throw it around. And Central gave us some problems because they've got really good receivers and quarterbacks. And Carver-Montgomery gave us some problems for the same reason. But they're a well-coached football team. They're not going to wow you with any particular person or any particular scheme. They're just aggressive. They make easy plays. They make routine plays. And they've got some home run hitters at wide receiver and at the running back position that just make them a tough out for anybody.
All right, Rob, back to Auburn and Vanderbilt. What are your expectations? How you think the game will play out on Saturday?
I hope it looks a lot like this Kentucky game. I could see where Vanderbilt could have some early success. They've done that on a lot of different teams, and you've got a quarterback with a lot of skill set to come in and feel confident. Obviously, the moment's not too big for him to walk into this stadium. We can't let one guy beat us, and we have to be able to not turn the football over and give them extra possessions. But they're going to try to milk the clock, and we have to take advantage of all the possessions we get off the field on third down, and don't let the quarterback beat you with his legs.
As an eye doctor, does your office, do you dress up? Does the staff dress up? Is that a big deal? Like you come to work as an ear, nose, and throat doctor, or how does that go?
No, I have on an orange shirt and black pants, so that's the extent of my dress up. But yeah, we've got some staff that do so, but it's I don't know, not as many this year. I don't know what the difference is, but.
Hey, before we let you go, I do want to ask you this quickly because your daughter's at East Carolina. They've made a change at the head football coaching position there. For those that do not know, that is Landrum and I believe that is a really good job. That's a secret good program waiting
Sleeping
for somebody.
giant.
Yep. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you, from a fan base perspective, they're phenomenal. The problem with East Carolina is that with where they're located, they're an hour and a half to 2 hours from everything without an international airport. So it's hard to get in and out of there, and I think that's why people don't know much about them. But hey, the Pirates, man, if they can get the right coach, they can get it done.
Arg. All
and
right.
UAB, hey, they're going to play. They're going to play at UAB a volleyball match Sunday at noon. So I'll be in Birmingham watching the Pirates against the Blazers.
All right, that should be good.
Rob, thank you for the time. Enjoy Saturday. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
All right, guys. War Eagle.
Rob Pate, former Auburn defensive back, joining us on Three Man Front. More to come. $12 o'clock, three-man front, the Halloween edition. Rob Pate just joining us, talking Auburn and Vanderbilt. Rodney Gore, Tighter Insider, in the 11 o'clock hour as well. We'll get to more of your texts. A lot of texts coming in on the Jocks text line, 205-834-9450. A variety of different topics there, as we've got Halloween recommendations for costume ideas for Nick Saban, if he ever chose to dress up for this festive occasion. Well, if you're looking to upgrade and enhance your outdoor living area and landscape, our friends at Second Generation Masonry, that's the team for beautifying any area. Their expert team crafts durable brick, concrete, and elegant stone creations that elevate any space, from fire pits, out landscape steps, garden walls, stone patios, walkways, custom driveways. These are your guys. Take your outdoor living area to the next level. You got to check them out. Second Generation Masonry, Alabama-based company, over 2 decades in business, residential and commercial work. You can look at the photos there at secondgenerationmasonry.com. Get your free quote today. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So there was a lot of excitement Saturday night in College Station, Texas, as the Aggies fell behind 17-7 at halftime to LSU. A big comeback in the second half. They intercept Garrett Nussmeier 3 times in the second half. The Aggies remain undefeated in the SEC. This is what Mike Elko said about the victory and his program there in College Station.
We're very honest. We're very open. And this is a real program. It's not fake. It's not a politician running this program, talking fast and BSing everybody. This is a real program. And for all the recruits out there, this is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
All right, so a lot of people, including ourselves, we immediately thought, okay, he's taking a shot at Jimbo. Jimbo talks really fast, and he sold a lot of people things that.
Was that intentional?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Good angle.
Landrum, say something.
Hey, what's up? Yep.
Okay, his is good.
Yeah, that's just the cameras.
Okay, Pat's just sideways. That's fine.
That's okay. I'm always sideways about something. So, anywho, thanks, Molly.
Yeah, that's it.
That looks better.
A little bit more to the other way. Yeah.
Okay.
You're glowing today, Pat.
Are you dizzy?
I guess I should be. The point of us playing that clip is because a lot of people thought he was talking about Jimbo Fisher, taking a shot at Jimbo, or he was talking about Brian Kelly, because Brian Kelly is also a fast talker and someone that has sold many different things. And okay, just really has not worked out for Brian Kelly to play for a national championship at LSU. So I guess Mike Elko started getting some phone calls, and he thought he needed to clarify those comments. This was Mike Elko wanting everybody to understand where he was coming from the previous comments.
Just the last thing, and it's just comical that I actually have to do this, but it's necessary. In the post game, I was asked to kind of give a synopsis on how we sell culture to our program. In doing so, I made a statement that seemed like a very benign statement that somehow managed to be taken as a shot directly at people. You guys gave me multiple opportunities in 9 months to take shots at people, and I've never done it. I have nothing but respect for Coach Fisher. I've said nothing but positive things about Coach Fisher. I'm the head coach at Texas A&M because of Coach Fisher. I appreciate who he is, everything that he's done. And for anybody in the media to think that that was what I was doing post-LSU is it's asinine. And for it to be about any other head coach who gave me an opportunity and hired me, and that's not who I am. I've never been that person, and it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knows I wasn't talking to anybody directly.
Okay, I guess you don't have to. We should take Mike Elko at his word, but my question is, when Jimbo Fisher saw that clip, do you think he immediately thought, he's talking about me?
No doubt.
There's no doubt he thought that.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Just let me handle it. Just let me handle it.
Ooh.
Technology.
Well, when he said it, he had to have had somebody in his mind, right?
Yeah.
When he said it. So, and then he starts getting mad at the media. You said it. They asked you a question.
You just had success. You just won a big game that maybe your former coach wouldn't have won. You've got everything out in front of you. You control your own destiny. And look, if he had just left out that talks really fast,
that kind of gave it away.
He would have been fine.
See, I know this is probably an unprofessional perspective, but
we're used to that.
Would you not? Exactly. Would you not have almost respected it more if he had just come out and said, yeah, that was about Jimbo? Yeah. I understand you can't do that, but I'm just saying, we all know. I mean, come on.
And then when he said it, I thought to myself, okay, well, he was on his staff. He was his defensive coordinator. He left to go and get a head job. Maybe there was a falling out. Maybe he didn't like the way or agree with the way that Jimbo ran that program. That's what I thought. And I didn't have a problem with it. But a lot of that has to do with more about Jimbo Fisher than
but him trying
itself.
to turn around on the media I can't believe I have to address
It's not just the
this.
media. Any college football fan that follows the SEC or has followed that program or Jimbo Fisher, they thought the same thing.
If the shoe fits, and the shoe fits perfectly on that one.
Yeah.
I mean.
And by the way, all coaches lie. He's lying through his teeth.
Oh, yeah.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
That's why I'm saying at least get up there and say, yeah, you don't have to like it, but you like where this program is right now compared to last year? Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah, just go out and lose to South Carolina.
Well, yeah, can't do that. Cannot do that.
Well, Jimbo will be jumping on every podcast in America at that point.
Oh, Jimbo's.
He'll join Brian Harsin. We'll start getting the
If
congratulations
you
to all
don't
the
think
winners.
that Jimbo's rooting against him, ooh, you are sadly mistaken.
So I just thought that was interesting, him having to come back and clarify. I guess enough people in College Station were a little irritated. So can't do that.
See, why would you be irritated, though?
I thought it was great. I thought it was perfect.
Y'all wanted him gone.
205-834-9450 on the text line.
That's tough.
It is. We still got technical problems.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there is no technical problem with the Jocks text line. It's open. KW says he is there because of Jimbo, and he was a crappy coach. Thank you. Back to the Mario Cristobal Miami conversation. All caps. Who has Miami played? They are 3 to 4 lucky plays away from being a 3-loss team. Can we please stop the hype?
I mean, they haven't lost you.
Who's hyping Miami?
It wasn't a hype. It was just pointing out the fact that he is trying to build the program by recruiting, and he's put together some really good recruiting classes. I mean, you can't deny that.
And they're definitely one of the best teams in college football right now.
Yes.
Doesn't mean they're going to win anything meaningful at the end of the year, but right now, I mean, yeah, they are one of the best.
For Elko to say that is complete bull junk. He was talking directly to Jimbo. Thank you, Michael. Random text, y'all like Tulane to cover? Offhand, I don't know what the line is, but I will say.
I think it's down to 14.5.
Okay.
I think. It was 16.5 when it opened. Was it 14.5?
14.5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get back to you on that. Unless you want to. You got an angle on that one yet?
I did early this morning, but I'm now starting to waver a little bit.
I like this Tulane football team. Also, Virginia Tech beat Miami. Yeah. Some people would say yes. Some people would argue no.
Well, the
like
ACC said they didn't, and that's the one that counts.
Apparently, somebody just passed our Jocks SUV on 2059. Awesome.
Good. Very cool. We're not in it, but
they had the
somebody
hands
is.
at 9 and 3 going the speed limit.
We have a few responses to our Twitter poll question as well. To remind you, on this Halloween, Nick Saban turned 73 years old. What holiday would you like your birthday to fall on? Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, or New Year's Day? Kip says, my birthday is September 1st. So it falls on opening weekend of college football paired with Labor Day almost every year. It's the perfect birthday. I feel you,
good.
Kip.
Yeah.
CJ says Thanksgiving. It's happened a couple times since I've been born. Demo says the 4th of July. Thundercat says mine is 2 days before Christmas, but it's not too bad. Gary says, I like this one. My birthday is on Christmas. I've never had to go to work or go to school on my birthday, and I get to share it with Jesus. I've always loved having a Christmas birthday.
Yeah.
It's very wholesome.
Historians, I don't want to. Yeah, we celebrate Jesus, the birth of Jesus on the 25th. Technically, I think he was born in June. It was a warmer months. Anyways. Sorry. I just ran.
No, let's hear more about this, Landrum. Let's go down this rabbit hole real quick.
I will bring up the documentation that has been shared by historians. But yes, we celebrate his birth on that day, but not that he was officially born on December the 25th. Actually, that is December 25th has been attributed to a pagan holiday. Yeah, there you go. Oh, we got it. You can cover your face if you want to. I'm just
putting my head down.
It's just funny that
ideas for Nick Saban and costume ideas. Napoleon. Okay, I can see that one. Saban should dress as a coach that sells his soul to the devil to have success on the football field. Wait.
Oh, my God.
Now, so there's this misnomer about Napoleon.
I was about to say, how tall was he?
I do not think Napoleon was as short as people want to.
Because, I mean, Nick Saban's probably, what, 5... I would put him at about 5'6", 5'7", maybe.
Who, Saban?
Yeah.
5'7".
Yeah, 5'7".
Tom Cruise height.
I feel like that's about where Napoleon is, or I guess maybe that's just the...
Napoleon was what,
5'3"?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, he was even shorter. Okay.
But I mean, some people
Like
say he
looked
was
like a little jockey on that horse.
It was like,
oh, like 4 feet tall,
Yeah.
literally. Oh, yeah, no. I didn't think that.
4 feet tall.
Now, Joaquin Phoenix, he's...
I was about to say, well, I think
you watch
Joaquin
the
Phoenix
movie-
is a little larger.
Shay says Nick Saban could dress as Jimmy Neutron for Halloween.
He doesn't have, get him a wig.
How about Gomez and Morticia for he and Miss Terry? K-Dub says Saban, one costume, goat.
There you go.
That's good.
And this one rolls in from Florida. Thanks for listening on the app. My birthday is 2 days after Christmas. Never had a birthday party bigger than 5 friends. Always were out of town. Marcus and Gulf Breeze. Oh,
Man, we have a lot of people with holiday birthdays, or within a week of a holiday.
yeah. Pat's sometimes falls on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Cinco de
one
Mayo
year
here.
One year was on Iron Bowl because me and Landrum did a show. He brought me cupcakes.
Oh, that's very nice.
Cupcakes and Ritz crackers.
Yep, sure did.
He likes Ritz.
Yeah, no, that's just an interesting combo.
Well, that's what they had available at the time.
It's very nice of you.
Did I get you a card too?
Just a hug.
Oh.
No, that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah. A sustained hug.
A little bit longer than I really cared for, but hey, it's okay. In the moment.
He needed it more than you.
I think so. It was Iron Bowl Saturday. A lot of emotions.
Andy from Georgia. Thank you, Andy. Landrum just spit straight facts about Christmas. Christmas came from the pagan winter solstice celebration, and Jesus was born late summer, early fall. Thank you.
I'm just not used to. I'm used to Pat having the historical fun facts, so I was impressed.
Walker says his mother's birthday is on Halloween. His brother's birthday typically falls on Friday the 13th.
Oh, my goodness.
His birthday is on Valentine's. He said, I never forget Valentine's Day or the Super Bowl. Wow. Michael says he's visited Napoleon's tomb, and it's set up in such a way that you have to look up at him. I bet it
That's
is.
not surprising.
Ward Tide says Saban listed at 5'9" in the college media guide. Or guild.
Well, that's like some of the players on the
Or it says
roster are not
at,
listed.
Listed at 59. I don't know. B-Rad says, mine is tomorrow and so glad, RTR. Happy early birthday, B-Rad.
Oh, happy birthday.
Keep them rolling in.
Do you like the history lesson?
You learn something every day on this show.
You really do.
Yeah. Thought it was an opportune time to throw that out there.
It was.
It was.
it was.
It was great.
It was the time to do it.
Okay. Thanks for circling back around, guys.
Just don't hold that in your back pocket.
No, I mean, you got to use it, right? They don't let you take the time out instead of the break.
Nope.
Is that the analogy for that?
I don't know.
I'm just waiting for my pastor to text me. All right, great.
Landrum, you're actually wrong. It was on this day. 1-800-239-WJOX, the courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. So, yesterday at this time, I was telling everybody about my experience of the CFP webinar that I was a part of. If you would like to read a little bit more about what I witnessed and experienced yesterday, Michael Casagrande from AL.com did an awesome article today. Says, here's what's wrong with the college football playoff. And he kind of goes into detail, basically the same stuff that I told you guys about yesterday. And the number one thing he brought up is the fact that the CFP committee and those in charge was trying to let everybody know yesterday, just trust us. It's going to be okay.
He made a great analogy in that article, essentially saying, I never had a math class growing up where I didn't have to show my work.
Bingo.
Great analogy.
So now they're basically saying, hey, just don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. I think people in Tallahassee will probably tell you, nah, not so much.
we don't trust this system.
No.
After last year. Well, when it comes to your technology, don't settle for anything less than a winning team. Evolve IT. They're your trusted local IT partner. At Evolve IT, they're your MVPs for all things tech, like network management, cybersecurity, and keeping your business systems running smoothly. No fumbles, no downtime, just expert support right here in Birmingham. That is the difference with Evolve IT and the national IT companies that a lot of businesses currently use. They do a fine job, but the problem is they're not local. So you're not going to get that local support 365, 24/7. It doesn't matter. You call Evolve IT, you're going to get a human being that answers the phone and can take care of your needs and keep your business up and running. They're ready to take your tech game to the next level. Evolve IT, evolvebhm.com. That's evolvebhm.com, or call 205-749-8970. And as always, tell them Landrum from Jock 94.5 sent you.
So the Southeastern Conference sent a memo yesterday alerting schools that they could, if they wanted to, send their equipment to the Helmet Comms Company headquarters over in Atlanta, Georgia, to get them affixed with a firmware patch on the software that's being used for the audio that comes from the coaches into the helmets of the quarterback and the linebackers. The league has reported no significant security issues with the equipment from coaches. The SEC said, we're not aware of any instances of the system being compromised during games. The company that they use, they have developed an update to resolve the issue, and they have made all the schools aware of this potential update. Now, this system that we're talking about that you see, the communications, it's the same one that the NFL uses. It requires a secure radio frequency that only the team can access. It was discovered during the Texas A&M Arkansas game at AT&T Stadium in Arlington on September 28th that it is possible, though not easy, for the frequencies to be accessed by those who were not authorized with a scanner. So if you were in the stadium with a scanner, there was a certain frequency that you could pick up the helmet communication going on. No word if Connor Stallions was there at the game. Other Power 4 conferences have been notified that their schools coach-to-player helmet communication equipment that they use during the games needs an adjustment to address security concerns with the product before teams play again. Now, the Big 10, Big 12, ACC, Southeastern Conference, they're using a system from a company called GSC that the NFL uses for its helmet comms. This is a direct quote from a Big 12 school administrator to Bruce Feldman of The Athletic. He would not give his name, but this is a Big 12 school administrator. He says, we're using a system that is not encrypted, and it's the same company that provides the NFL, and the NFL is encrypted. So I'm going, why the hell isn't our system encrypted? Whose miss is that? Why would we even have thought about using a system that was not encrypted? Question mark. End of quote. So someone working at the stadium operations and hired by the hosting conference is responsible each game for cutting off the helmet communication on each play, silencing the offense and defense systems simultaneously. Most coaches, usually the offense and defensive play callers on the head coach, have a one-way walkie-talkie patched into the standard coaching headset. Only one coach can communicate with the quarterback or defensive player at a time, but the rest of the coaching staff can listen in. So that's amazing. So all these college teams are using the software that is not encrypted like they do in the NFL. And apparently at AT&T Stadium between Texas A&M and Arkansas, somebody in the stadium was able, I don't know if it was a check by the conference. I don't know, the stadium personnel. The article did not say who found out that the frequencies was accessible through a scanner, but now they're telling all teams, please send your equipment over to Atlanta so we can do this firmware patch.
Man, I was just hoping every coaching staff was going to have to add a hacker to their staff now, see if they can get an advantage.
Well, first of all, the scanners that you could listen to pit crews on NASCAR races did that at Talladega. That was always an enjoyable and entertaining experience, especially as a 12-year-old.
Did you learn some new words?
I did. Dale Earnhardt was the master. I just kept it on that channel. Earnhardt and his
Hey,
pit
Dad,
crew.
what does this word mean?
Yeah. He had some nice things to say about Jeff Gordon, too.
Did he ask a question? Did he ask a question about Jeff Gordon?
But you ask, how could this happen? Well, I don't know. How could this happen? Let's go back to, I don't know, let's say NIL being introduced into intercollegiate athletics. But if you want to blame somebody, blame the scandal around Connor Stallions. Because with the sign stealing scandal and all of that, we were rushing to market. We had to go ahead and fire and then aim and make sure that everybody was outfitted with this new technology so we could avoid the conspiracy that all of these games were fixed because you knew the play before they were actually run.
Okay, so I want to take you back. This is just, I've not read this. This is just my own opinion. Do you remember back when the bowl games, when all these teams had the potential that you could use them?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when we talked about how much Maryland was spending because they wanted helmet communication, but Auburn did not for the bowl game?
Yes.
Okay. Here's my thing. I believe that this company has given the conferences, okay, here's a 2-tier level buy. Like, okay, you want the encrypted version? It's going to cost you this. If you want to go the non-encrypted, it's this. And I bet you they went the cheap route.
I could see that.
Because teams were bitching and complaining, even during the bowl experience, about how much this was going to cost to have all this technology done. And because trying to balance the budgets, even in the SEC and these other conferences, football is the biggest expense, but there's certain things that they probably said, well, you know what? I mean, who's going to be sitting in a stadium with a scanner that's trying to figure out what the helmet communication is?
Well, and didn't we talk about it earlier in the year? I can't remember what school it was, but it was an FCS school, I believe, that was playing an FBS school, and they used the helmet communication, but they could only use it that one game, but they had to pay for the entire season's worth of equipment for one game. Like, that's, a perfect example of where, you're going to take the cheap route in that case.
Can you imagine a pivotal play, though, and some fan intercepts and is able to communicate with a quarterback, a fan of an opposing team? Now just scrap everything. Just keep it. Keep it here. Right side.
That's hilarious.
With the number of hackers that we have out
there. I know.
Some 15-year-old's probably capable of doing this.
Well, now with AI, I'm sure someone can hack in there and have an AI of the head coach and make it sound, or the offensive coordinator, and make it sound like them too. And then it really throws you off.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
And going back to Auburn in the bowl game, I don't think that would have helped based on the comments from Peyton Thorne and Hugh Freeze and how much preparation went into that game.
I was just
planning.
using that as an example.
No, I know.
Because I know how much Maryland, which kind of shocked me that Maryland was going to spend that much money for a bowl game, but Loxley wanted it. And
I was about to say, Loxley gets what he wants.
I guess they called Kevin Plank, and Plank said, okay, we just won't do an extra helmet next year, and we'll give you the money.
I bet Oregon's got the encrypted version.
Probably. The Southern Gentleman, Brett Norsworthy, WHBQ Radio in Memphis, the Ole Miss Radio Network. He will join us next. They're traveling to his alma mater, Arkansas. Interesting game coming up. We'll talk to Brett about that. This is 3 Man Front on Jocks 94.5. 1231, Jocks 94.5 coming up in just a moment. Brett Norsworthy will join us from WHBQ Radio. Let me tell you about Travis Lloyd and the great company Abide Roofing, 205-922-7134. I recommend them 100%. They have been on my roof. They helped me out. I had some damage due to a storm. I called Travis and his amazing team, and they got tons of experience, and they came to my house, and not only were they able to identify the issue, but then they worked with my insurance company and be able to get my claim processed, and I got a brand new roof because of Travis Lloyd and what his company was able to do for me. And that's something Abide can do for you too. They'll work directly with your insurance company to ensure that you will get what you deserve. There's a lot of roofing companies out there, but there's only one, Abide Roofing, and I recommend them for a reason. Licensed, bonded, and insured, and it's just a true pro in the industry. Call them today and see why I recommend them so much. Whether it's just a repair or a complete replacement like I had to have done, they'll take care of you. 205-922-7134 or abideroof.com.
Well, the Southern gentleman, Brett Norsworthy, has a very popular radio show that he is a host of there in Memphis. Also, he's a member of the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He joins us now on Three Man Front. All of our guests join us on the Buyers Right hotline. Mr. Norsworthy, hope you're doing well. We were getting listener ideas if Nick Saban was to dress up in a Halloween costume. My question for you, though, is when is the last time that Brett Norsworthy partook on Halloween and dressing up in an actual costume?
I would say probably 10 or 11 years old. Never did it in college. Never been to a party. When I was a youngster, I've told you before, when I was a youngster, I didn't really like Halloween. We lived way out. We lived so far out in the country, we had to go toward town to hunt. So living that far out, it was hard to stay put together that long, and it was a lot of trouble. And keeping the outfit on. And I never really I like the idea for the little people. I do. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that curmudgeonly. But I never like wagging the jug around and asking somebody to fill it for me. If I need candy, I'll get my own candy.
There you go. Brett Norsworthy joins us here on Three Man Front, joins us every Thursday talking about the SEC. Let's talk about this Ole Miss Rebel game. It's a fascinating game heading to your alma mater, the Arkansas Razorbacks. That has always been an interesting rivalry between these two schools, especially since Arkansas joined the SEC. The point spread's a little bit odd, in my opinion. This is going to be a tough game in my view, that Ole Miss has to go there in Fayetteville. Just give us a little preview and your thoughts on this game for Lane Kiffin and his Rebels.
Well, Pat, I share every bit of your comments about it. It's always a tough game for both sides. It's very well contested every year. 2 years ago was a blowout Arkansas in Fayetteville, and Sam Pittman's 2-0 versus Lane Kiffin in Fayetteville, beat him in 2020 in COVID, and then got him 2 years ago after the heartbreak loss for Ole Miss against Alabama. And Arkansas came out and just really put it on Ole Miss. It was 42-10 at starting the fourth quarter, and it really took a pretty gutsy effort for Ole Miss not to pack it in and get 60 put on them that night. And the two wins for Lane Kiffin and Oxford have been wild, crazy, fun games. And this series is one of my favorites. I mean, from back to my youth in my hometown, you heard about this game all the time. My parents, as young married couple, would go to this game in Memphis at Crump Stadium. And there was a time, a long time ago, I fully recognize that, a long, long time ago, that this was the game for Ole Miss. It was not Mississippi State. It was not LSU. This was the rivalry game, and it was the game for Arkansas. And that's why Coach Broyles ended it as a non-conference game, because he wanted the emphasis rightly to be on the Razorbacks playing Texas. So they went a long stretch without playing regular season, played in the famous Sugar Bowl after the 1969 season when Archie Manning was a one-man wrecking ball against Arkansas at Tulane Stadium. And then they resumed non-conference in 1981 and played through the 91 season. Then in 92, Arkansas joined the league. In my previous 16 years at Ole Miss, I'm in my 17th year, it's 8-8, and it's always close. It's very competitive. And I don't know why both sides are so reluctant to recognize the other one's existence, to recognize that this is a good, fun game and we got a good thing going with each other and maybe appreciate it a little more. But, boy, both sides refuse to acknowledge the other one's existence.
Brett, I know that recency bias and what we saw in College Station last Saturday can play a big part in how we perceive a team because in the SEC, college football, let's be honest, it's week to week. But how good do you truly believe this Texas A&M team is?
I think it's pretty good, Landry, but you're so right. I would even narrow it down to it's almost quarter to quarter.
Yeah.
LSU led that game easily. I mean, they led with 11 minutes to play. Or 11 minutes left in the third quarter. They led that game by 10 points, I think 17-7, and then it was all Aggies after that. And other than the Jimbo Fisher one win over Nick Saban that they're still celebrating at College Station, A&M hadn't done much since joining the SEC at vaulted Kyle Fields. But they did last week. Give them credit for it. I love Mike Elko's post-game comments, and I know he backed off from it a little bit, but he got two coaches with one shot. He was directly talking about Brian Kelly and his predecessor at Texas A&M. He's a good, tough guy. You know, you play football at Penn and play baseball at Penn. He was a baseball football teammate at Penn with Mark DeRosa when they both were there. He's a tough guy, and you win at Duke. You know, like David Cutcliffe and Steve Spurrier. You're remembered because that's a really tough job. I think they're good, but I think that is one of the upsets Saturday night, but it is not my upset special. But I think that is one of the upsets Saturday night. I think South Carolina gets them in Columbia, and Ole Miss got a real break getting South Carolina an afternoon game instead of at night.
All right, so let's talk about the SEC as a whole because there's been a lot of models this week that's now projecting the SEC solid with 3 teams in the CFP. Do you see it that way, and what are your teams as of this moment that are going to be punching their ticket to the brand new expanded college football playoff?
Well, I see it as 3, and I'm scared that it will only be 3, and I must say I think that it will be deserving. I don't know how you could get out to 5 that I had preseason. That was very aspirational, and I don't think that's realistic now. And it may not even be able to get to 4. The 3 will be Georgia, Texas, and either Tennessee, LSU, or Texas A&M. And I would give right now Texas A&M the clear path to that because if they win Saturday night, if they lose Saturday night, then it makes Tennessee the clear path and probably deservingly so. Tennessee, they still have Georgia, but they could afford could be able to afford to lose that one and still get in the playoffs. But when you go through these rest of the teams, I mean, just in all fairness to ACC and Big 12, they both deserve more than one, and I think should get. I think the SEC is really, really good this year. I do not think it's vintage. We've all seen it much tougher, and I can just show you games. I mean, you know, Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. It's still Vanderbilt. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky. It's still Kentucky. Tennessee lost at Fayetteville. I mean, it's still Sam Pittman, a 500 coach that Tennessee lost there. A lot of people will make that the argument that it's very competitive and it's pretty equal. I don't. I think there are lesser teams of high quality in the SEC this year, and a lot of that is Alabama sets the standard for this league, and we know in the first year for Kalen DeBoer, this is not the traditional Alabama standard.
And Brett, speaking of the college football playoff, Pat and some other members of the media had a chance to take part in the college football playoff webinar yesterday. General Clark and others trying to explain the criteria and the process of this new 12-team playoff and the selection and the thought that goes into it. One thing that was revealed is they're going to be using a private company to supply their strength of schedule metrics and analytics, but they would not be sharing those with the public. I got a big problem with that. What is your reaction to that decision?
Big problem, Landry. I always want more. We're in the business of more. We should always want the bright light of scrutiny. It's the best disinfectant. You lay it out there. You let people know how you got to a place, and then you let the chips fall where they may. But I don't like at all the idea of something not being disclosed. But we're serious about this college football playoff when we got a general running it.
This is true.
Well, I will tell you, watching it yesterday, I've never met the man. You and I both know I've known Bill Hancock for a very long time. And there's no doubt that I think the good general, once he has a little bit more time under his belt, he will be a very good ambassador for the college football playoff. But let's just say yesterday, he might have lost the battle, but the war's not over.
Yeah. Yeah,
yes, it was. But that does not mean that he can't rebound and carry the troops over the finish line, without a doubt.
That's right. He's good at that.
Yes. All right. So I know you're a Heisman voter. And so I'm not asking you, hey, who you voting for? Because that would be illegal and I'd get you banned and all that stuff. I don't want that to happen. But in regards to the SEC, do you foresee the SEC getting someone with an invite to New York? Because if you look at Las Vegas, Carson Beck has got the 7th best odds of any player from the Southeastern Conference. Are we going to be shut out from having anyone show up in New York from the Southeastern Conference?
I think so. I think it's part of what Kyle was describing about the teams. It's all really, really good, but has anybody been great this year? If Dylan Sampson at Tennessee, if he had something just phenomenal down the stretch, but we have not a contempt, but we're so averse now to voting for a running back. And I think there are other running backs that will be ahead of him, and it may include Ashton Genty at Boise State. I would hope, especially if they pull the big upset at Yankee Stadium and they stayed undefeated, not to win it, but I would hope that people would consider the quarterback at Army a little more.
I'm right there with you. Bryson Daly, having seen him up close and personal, that dude is he is. I've described him as Tim Tebow, but meaner. He's looking to punish people.
It looks like Ray Nitschke.
That's a good call there. All right, speaking of upsets, you bring us your I Ain't Scared bold prediction for the college football weekend. You said already you think South Carolina gets Texas A&M at Williams-Brice on Saturday night. Where else are you going for a potential upset this weekend?
And I got there last week with Auburn straight up at Lexington. Called that one last week. They got there 24-10. I'm 5-5 this year. With the underdog winning. I hadn't figured it up straight up, but I can for next week. And this week, I'm sorry to do it to you, Auburn fans, but I'm going to go against you. Vandy goes down on the Plains, and they win by 2 touchdowns. They win by double digits easily at Auburn.
Ooh, 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Wasn't ready for that.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm not saying I disagree, but
Diego Pavia may get a stray vote or two for the Heisman, especially if they win a little more down the stretch. He's been a fun story.
And I was looking because there was some talk earlier this week in Nashville that he was banged up a little bit. Obviously, he came out of the game briefly against Texas, but he did not show up on the injured list last night at all. So, I mean, he is.
Yeah, I think
he's good to go.
I think we're already fibbing a lot on that injured list, though. I wouldn't take that to the bank and try to borrow money against it.
Yeah, I agree. Your Rebels got a lot of guys questionable and probable on that list too. So.
Yeah, and it's kind of a coin toss on a lot of things on that list. I don't know how much I believe that. But we got a great weekend ahead of us. Cocktail party. I love this weekend. This is money time, November.
No, there's no doubt about it. Brett, always appreciate your insight, your time. Look forward to catching up with you again next week. Enjoy the weekend in your home state of Arkansas.
I will. Look forward to seeing you, Landrum, in Memphis in a few weeks. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brett. Brett Norsworthy joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline for all your insurance, financial, and HR needs. It's Buyers Right Insurance, a Higginbotham partner.
Some of the things that Brett had to tell us, including he's predicting Vanderbilt a 2-touchdown win over Auburn on the Plains. We'll get your reaction to that. The text line as well. It's a Thursday, a Halloween edition. Ooh, 3-man front. Jocks 94.5. Conrad, did you grow up watching this video?
But yeah, I think everybody did. I mean, this is probably the most famous music video of all time, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing you could throw out some others that might rival it, but production value and for the time when it was produced, pretty amazing.
Very iconic, yes.
Yes.
And a Halloween favorite.
That's right. Well, from daily exercisers and youth athletes to elite professionals, UAB Sports and Exercise Medicine treats everyone with the same level of exceptional care with board-certified professional, state-of-the-art imaging and injury prevention programs. Their comprehensive team is here to keep you in the game. Visit uabmedicine.org/sports or call 205-930-8339 to make an appointment. UAB Sports and Exercise Medicine, knowledge moving medicine forward. Brett Norsworthy, the Southern gentleman, our friend and one of our favorite guests, joining us just moments ago. He gave us his I Ain't Scared bold prediction of the college football weekend. He actually gave us two. The first was he expects South Carolina to knock off Texas A&M, Williams-Brice, Columbia, South Carolina on Saturday night. The other, not so much of him picking the upset because Vanderbilt is the dog at Jordan-Hare Stadium, but saying outright win and a 2-touchdown win for the Commodores. No disrespect, and it is a bold prediction. I don't see it playing out that way. But then again, you've got a coach in Hugh Freeze that, whether it's it was Ron Roberts or whoever his defensive coordinator was at Liberty, they have not been able to figure out the equation that is Diego Pavia.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right about that. I thought that it was kind of weird, and we've talked about it, just how the line was when it came out, and a little bit more of a heavy favorite for Auburn than some of us were expecting. But that's certainly bold by Brett. I don't think it's necessarily that bold to predict a Vanderbilt win, but a 2-touchdown win on the road with a banged-up quarterback, that would be remarkable if they're able to pull that off. I don't know if I see it, but that's why it's a bold prediction.
And I'm trying to find that line. It's maintaining Auburn at 7. So the line came out at 5.5. It jumped up. So sharp money went on Auburn. Now, there's two lines of thought here. Was it the Sharps firing in on Auburn to inflate that line and they're going to load up on Vanderbilt plus the points, or they think it's an outright win? Or do they believe that the running game that Auburn was able to find last week and the way that it sets up the particular matchup coming back home facing a Vandy squad that's coming off a hard-fought loss to Texas, do they believe that Auburn has actually got enough in the tank and they're able to capitalize on a big win in Lexington last week?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been kind of waiting to see if that line would get up to 7.5 for Auburn, because I think that's what a lot of people would be looking for is, if you can take Vanderbilt to just cover by a touchdown, I think a lot of people would be all over that. But as you said, it's stuck at 7 right now.
I'm going to, because I said on the record I was going to fade Auburn for the rest of the season. But I will tell you, I do feel like Auburn comes ready to play, and they put out one of their best efforts of the season. That is my gut. That's what it's telling me. But I thought the same thing going into the Missouri game. And you know what? I was right for most of the game until Brady Cook had the ball in his hands for 2 possessions.
So speaking of Brady Cook, and I brought this stat up a couple weeks ago. So SEC stat cat, Clark Brook, if you follow him on Twitter, does a nice job of kind of breaking down, gives you another analytical look, kind of like a Pro Football Focus. But so he has this stat, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's the uncatchable pass rate by a quarterback. Brady Cook is number 1 in the SEC in regards to the uncatchable pass rate.
I believe it.
He's number 1. Vandergriff is number 2. You can see that.
Yes.
Just by your eyeballs. You don't have to go back and look at tape and break down the Pro Football Focus or the SEC Stat Cat to figure that out. Coming in at number 3, Peyton Thorne.
Okay.
Nico, number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Is Taylor Green next?
Shapen at Mississippi State. He's got enough, obviously, throws before he got injured that he still qualifies. Coming in at number 6 is Taylor Green.
Okay, there we go.
At Arkansas. Arch Manning. He now has enough to qualify. He's at number 7, and this is the the most uncatchable pass rates in the SEC. Pavia is at number 8. Lagway is 9, and finishing up the top 10 of the worst uncatchable pass rate in the SEC is Mertz.
Interesting.
So Peyton Thorne came in at number 3, and his opponent this weekend, Diego Pavia, is at number 8.
Okay. Who needs to throw the ball better in order for their team to win on Saturday? Is it Diego Pavia?
Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And I know the inclination in what Hugh Freeze was saying in his press conference is if you can make Vanderbilt commit that extra guy to the box to try to slow down, attempt to stop Jarquez Hunter, what that can do, not only what that can do for Peyton Thorne, where he's not behind the sticks, he can relax, he can load up, he can find a Cam Coleman or a Keandre Lambert-Smith in some of those one-on-ones. I'll take both of those guys on the outside. No disrespect to whoever Vanderbilt has covering them, but you know that Clark Lee, they've got a good scheme in planning for that Auburn run game. We will get to your text in the next hour. A lot of entertaining text, costume ideas for Nick and Miss Terry Saban. Also, other things that we have conversed about for the last 3 hours. But great news, there is 1 hour left. We'll do Pat Ponders. Maybe Conrad's got a Halloween edition, the worst thing I've seen. All of that and more as we roll on not only Halloween, a college football, an NFL on Jocks Thursday night, as well as the Coach Bill Clark Show that you don't want to miss. It airs at 6 o'clock tonight as well. 3-man front. Landrum, Pat, Conrad, Molly, and you. You're the most important. No tricks here. Only treats. 3-man front. Jocks 94.5. JocksFM.com. The Jocks 94.5 app. Don't even take it that way. Come on. You always want to go down a dirty road, Conrad. We continue on a Thursday.
Welcome back. It's hour number 4 of Three Man Front on this Halloween edition. Happy birthday, Nick Saban. Turned 73 years old today. Be careful out there if you're trick-or-treating tonight. 1-800-239-WJOX. The Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450 as we get ready for the fourth and final hour of today's program.
Well, if you need a place to kick back and relax this afternoon, why not head into Twin Peaks and Hoover for a little bit of happy hour? Of course, they have their 29-degree man-sized drafts each and every day of the week, but they also have a match made in heaven for you. Of course, that is football and fireball. Head on into Twin Peaks tonight. Catch the college football action, Thursday night football there in the NFL. Enjoy a little bit of fireball with a side of fireball there at Twin Peaks and Hoover.
So the Yankees lose the World Series last night after jumping up to a 5-0 lead. The Dodgers are world champions. Freddie Freeman was named most valuable player. If you're like me, you like the offseason, the Hot Stove League. It will officially begin on Monday, 5 days after the conclusion of the World Series. Teams can start signing free agents. So technically last night, Juan Soto became a free agent as soon as the final out was made. So his services potentially will be had by somebody. Garrett Cole, there's an option on his contract. He could opt out. He could leave your Yankees.
But if they add an extra year onto his contract, then it nulls the option. I would imagine they do that.
Max Fried has become a free agent last night at the conclusion of the World Series game. So the Braves could give either him a qualifying offer where if he would accept the qualifying offer, that means that he would come back for a 1-year deal. If he would decline the 1-year offer, then the Braves would get a draft pick from whoever would potentially sign Max Fried. Most people believe that the Braves will not give him a qualifying offer and that he will walk and look for elsewhere services. Also, Bregman for the Astros. He's a free agent.
I was about to say that is somebody that I would not mind the Yankees taking a look at.
So let's see where Charlie Morton might come back for one more season. He's got some in the tank. He's 41 years old.
He's trying to be the next Jamie Moyer. Come on, Landrum.
We definitely need some help in that department. But for anything else, Braves just need to get healthy, stay healthy. And I don't know the progress of Spencer Strider, but now we got Acuna with 2 repaired ACLs and Strider now with his second surgery that he's had on the arm. You're going to lose Max Fried. I think that's a foregone conclusion. They're not going to pay the money that maybe the Dodgers, the Padres, somebody else is going to be willing to pay. But yeah, Hot Stove League, always a lot of fun this time of year.
We've got NFL action tonight, the Texans and the Jets. The Jets are trying to avoid a 6-game losing streak as Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are going to do everything they can. They're a 2-point favorite.
No Stephon Diggs.
No,
or Nico Collins, the Clay Chalkville wide receiver.
So did y'all see this kind of went viral on social media last night after the Dodgers won. There's somebody out there that has a parlay where they picked all of the major sports champions for the year, and they have gotten 4 or 5 of them correct. The last one they need to hit is on the Super Bowl winner for this year. And I forgot, it was like a $50 wager to win $1 million payout.
Oh, my goodness. Don't tell me they picked the Jets.
They picked the New York Jets as their pick to win the Super Bowl, part of why it was $1 million payout. So you know how they'll do where you can cash out early, essentially. So he's hit on every leg of this parlay except the last one being the Jets winning the Super Bowl. The payout, if he were to cash out right now, is like $4,000. That's how bad the Jets are. That's all he can get is a $4,000 payout on $1 million weight. That's insane.
Wow. A lot of great text coming in, 205-834-9450. That's your best way to interact with us on the Jocks text line and some Halloween-themed stuff on here. We're talking about birthdays, and that goes back to our Twin Peaks Twitter poll question of my favorite horror movie villain theme music.
Oh, yeah, it's the best.
It's very similar, though, if you thought about it, to Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Well, it is an unsolved mystery. How does he keep coming back?
Cost them $300,000 to produce that movie.
The first one?
Yeah.
$300,000.
Imagine they made a boatload off of that one.
I blame the Myers family in the upbringing. he was part of dysfunction.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we do now? We blame it on everyone
I was about to say it
else.
was his mom's fault. Yeah.
Yeah. This one reads, I was born the day before the 97 Red River shootout. My mom's an OU fan. Now my birthday is always the week of the Wed Wiva.
Looky there. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Smokey says the Sabins definitely do a themed Halloween with the grandkids. He's probably a Minion or the Tin Man. Smokey from Jasper.
I love he said that. My first thought was, oh, great. So he's going to be the guy from Minions. Because that's what every kid wants to be, I feel like, is the Minions.
Back to Miami Hurricanes. Miami's so irrelevant, they have to share a stadium.
Whew.
Hot takes. David says, my birthday is December 29th, and it sucks because I never had a party growing up and always got combined with birthday and Christmas gifts. Jesus was actually born late April, early March, because the shepherds were told at night by an angel, and the only time shepherds were tending sheep at nights was during the lambing season, which is only April and March. Okay.
All right.
Vicky says she thought that Christ was born in March, but probably because of the Ides of March being tax time.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
B-Rad says they're probably using the headphones like NASCAR fans use to intercept the coach comm.
Good thought.
Robert says the SEC is only going to get, or they will get 4 teams in the college football playoff. That's been everyone's thought process all year.
Well, it has been all year, but unfortunately, the way things kind of played out, it's been very tough playing this schedule without divisional opponents. And you got so many teams that right now currently with just 2 losses. So
another recommendation for the Sabins, Nick should be the jester and Miss Terry should be the queen. I like that. Why is it called the Hot Stove League? Steve from Tuscaloosa asked.
I don't know why they call it the hot stove.
Do you know that, Pat?
Just because you got things brewing all off season and they're just cooking up?
that's what I've heard before, but
That's
might be something completely different.
It would make sense. That would
There
be
we
it.
go. It dates back to the late 19th century when people would gather around a literal hot stove during the cold winter months to discuss baseball. These informal gatherings became known as Hot Stove League because the discussions were often intense and passionate, much like the heat radiating from the stove.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know if that's accurate, but you know what? I'll
That's
buy
good
it.
enough for me.
Good enough for me. What was the weirdest thing y'all have ever received while trick-or-treating? Jacob asked.
The weirdest thing?
I think I went somewhere when I was a kid and somebody was giving out goldfish.
I got a Jehovah's Witness pamphlet.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, I got a goldfish.
Yeah, I've gotten crackers and things like that before. How common was it when y'all were kids that you got?
No, I meant a real goldfish, not the goldfish crackers.
No, you got a real goldfish.
Oh, wait,
I'm talking about
what?
a real goldfish. No, I realized you guys kind of
Yeah, we just blew right over that.
No,
Okay,
not
goldfish, whatever.
goldfish crackers.
Now, did they
an
do
actual goldfish in a Ziploc bag?
Oh, in a Ziploc bag. I was going to
Yes.
ask because you used to go to the fair and you
Yes.
could win the goldfish and it would just, they'd wrap it up in the cellophane bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How long did you keep it?
I think I gave it to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want that. Give me your candy.
You threw it down the storm drain, didn't you?
I don't want some. No, I would
Somewhere
not do
there's
that.
a giant koi swimming around.
I would not do that.
Wait, so how often would y'all get like a toothbrush or floss or something like,
I don't get that. Yeah, that was always.
I feel like that happened every year. There's always
Thanks.
somebody. Yeah. Wow.
Did they?
Hygiene.
At least if you're going to do that, give out real candy too.
Yes. Now, after you eat this, floss your teeth. Okay.
That's a good way to get your house egged.
Do you have the house in the neighborhood though that maybe had like the king size candy bars, or that they had the good stuff compared to everyone else?
Oh, they're yeah.
There's always that house or a
Yeah.
couple houses.
Or the ones that would put out the big pot of candy, but also write the note because they decided that they didn't want to answer the door.
Yeah,
they
just
wanted
take
to go
two.
Just take 2. Okay.
Right. Gotcha. Yep.
KW says, learn that hot stove info from Ben Cook way back in the day on his show. Ben was a good fella. Drake says, have you guys ever seen the original movie Psycho? I have.
Yes.
I actually watched that 2 weeks ago with Paige.
Alan recommends Saban go in as the Tin Horn Man.
It's good. It's actually really good.
And I don't know if you would have liked his idea for Miss Terry.
Yeah, no. I think I know where that one's going.
Connor says Jesus was born during Passover. Nimrod was born in 1225. Christmas is actually a pagan holiday. You know, I brought that up earlier, and that goes back to the Roman times when it was they worshiped the sun, Sol, and the winter solstice and all of that. Not important. What is important is the birth and or the resurrection. That is what we should focus on.
You're right. I agree with that. 100%.
Keep the text coming in, 205-834-9450. I'm not backing away. That's fine.
No, and you shouldn't. Everything you just said is absolutely right. I'm just very confused about Pat looks like the what's the episode, The Twilight Zone, where they all look like pigs? The way that he was doing his nose. You know what I'm talking about?
What a compliment.
He was doing it.
Hey, Molly, what you been doing? Hanging out?
Yeah, just hanging out.
Okay.
You know.
Good. Hope you're having a great Halloween.
So far, so good.
One of the best ever.
Of course.
She looks a little frightened. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I had to leave the room because I hate that music.
Oh, you hate that music?
Yes, I don't like scary movies.
Okay, well, can he play it? Because I did have an impromptu, like, just trivia question or trivia contest if you guys wanted to do it. I had 6 easy questions, and we'll keep score.
Pat, he's coming for your job.
No. That's Price is Right. This is something totally different. Can you cue up the music?
Oh, you were doing it now. Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead and do it right now. I thought it was actually pretty interesting. All right, question number 1. Molly, you will go first. Which famous person died on Halloween? Was it Audrey Hepburn?
Okay, multiple choice. Okay.
Harry Houdini?
I was like, I don't know.
Audrey Hepburn, Harry Houdini, or Edgar Allan Poe?
Edgar Allan Poe.
That is your answer. Pat, what is your answer?
It is Poe.
Yeah.
All 3 of you, incorrect. It is Harry Houdini.
Oh.
Question number 2.
That would have been just such a great coincidence for Edgar Allan Poe.
Question number 2. What is the name of the Gothic novel about a scientist who creates a monster? Conrad, you go first.
I mean, it's Frankenstein, but is it called... It's called something else,
There's
isn't
like
it?
a fancier...
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not... Yes. Is it called Frankenstein's Monster? Because the doctor is Frankenstein.
Just give me your answer. Other people have to participate.
Frankenstein's Monster.
Yeah, I think we all collectively.
Yeah. Frankenstein's monster.
Okay, well, for short, Frankenstein. So you all got that.
Oh, okay.
one.
I was
All
right. Okay.
True or false? A pumpkin is a fruit. Pat.
True.
Pat says true.
False.
Conrad, false.
I'll go true.
Molly and Pat are correct. Question number 4.
I felt really good about that one.
What is another name for a large kettle or boiler?
A cauldron.
Oh, I was going to say that, a cauldron.
Yeah, give him the credit because he was first.
All right, cauldron. All right, Conrad, you're on the board. Congratulations.
Finally.
Which
I feel like you
Shakespeare
yesterday.
Which Shakespeare play features the double toil and trouble rhyme? Let me try that again.
Yeah.
Which Shakespeare play features the double toil and trouble rhyme?
Taming of the Shrew.
Good guess.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Macbeth.
I'll be damned. Macbeth.
Wow.
It's either going to be Macbeth
I
or
mean,
what Pat
you want
said.
to talk about just pulling one straight.
Well, I knew it wasn't Romeo and Juliet,
Right.
so I went with the other one I knew.
Wow. True or false? Candy corn is the most disliked Halloween candy in America.
True.
True.
False.
It is true.
That seemed like a classic
All right,
Pat
and then
question.
final question. I lied. 7 questions. What iconic accessory did Michael Jackson wear in the Thriller music video?
Right?
I was scared of this
Read-
music
read
video
that
as a kid.
one more time.
So
What iconic accessory did Michael Jackson wear in the Thriller music video?
Sequin glove.
Yeah, is it not the
yeah,
glove?
his thing.
The answer, according to this, is the red jacket.
That's not
Oh,
an accessory.
okay.
Though. When I think accessory,
I think of jewelry
right.
or
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. So that's up for debate. But thanks for participating. That is your Halloween.
Thank
who
you,
won?
Andrew.
Did Conrad win?
I did not win.
No, I will say that you.
I confidently did not win.
But Macbeth was huge, and you get bonus points for that.
Here we go. I'll do what I can.
I know.
Taming of the Shrew was bad.
Hey, you can't
No,
crap a
Taming of the Shrew
tackle,
was a
but you
great
can crap
guess.
an answer sometimes.
Three-man front, Jacks 94.5.
It is 119, Jocks 94.5. Welcome back in. This is Three-Man Front. Pat Landrum, Molly, and Conrad. Sorry. I was just enthralled by the music. I forgot who you were.
It's okay. Someone called me Landrum this morning, so it's fine.
Well, I think I called you Landrum, did I not?
Oh, yeah, you did. So that's 2 now.
Double whammy. Sorry about that. We have got some really good football coming up this weekend. You got Ohio State and Penn State. This will be the 4th AP Top 5 matchup this season. That's the most in a regular season since 2011. So we've already had some just huge marquee games, especially top 5. You got Iowa State. They're sitting there 7-0 for the first time since 1938. They're seeking their first ever 8-0 start. Molly continues to put them in her bowl projections and in the college football playoff.
And you better believe I will.
Michigan is facing their AP number 1 team for the first time since 2006. How about that? First time since Michigan has played the number 1 team, according to the AP, since 2006. They lost that game to Ohio State 42-39.
They don't play anybody.
Meanwhile, Manny Diaz at Duke is facing Miami for the first time since being fired in 2021 and was placed by Mario Cristobal. UAB, meanwhile, this is going to be a very special game on Saturday. It is the Children's Harbor game there at Protective Stadium. As the Blazers, it's homecoming. Along with it being a Children's Harbor game, the Blazers are trying to stop a 6-game losing streak. That is the third longest losing streak in college football right now. So hopefully UAB can take care of Tulsa. Tulsa comes in 3-5, 1-3 in the American Athletic Conference. That's a 1:30 kickoff there at Protective Stadium. I know you've been doing a little bit of preview work, Landrum, for the pregame show coming up on Saturday that you and I will be a part of. And this Tulsa team, they were pretty much left for dead last week, and they had a big second half to come back and get a big win in conference play.
Yeah, they came back on a UTSA team that is not the Roadrunner team we've seen in the past, but you outscore your opponent 39-10 in the second half. You do it with a backup senior quarterback who throws for 5 touchdowns, over 300 yards. This is, when you look at maybe potentially Rice, after already having fired their coach, but Tulsa, as far as most or best matchups for UAB, Tulsa would be that team, but it would be UAB's luck that you had a Tulsa team that found lightning in a bottle last week, and you got a quarterback coming in with a whole lot of confidence in a team that is riding a 1-game winning streak. But hopefully UAB can use the off week and the things that they've learned in some hard-fought games and come out victorious.
And the Bill Clark Show tonight at 6 o'clock that you can hear right here on Jocks 94.5 prior to the NFL game between the Texans and the Jets. We taped that yesterday afternoon with Coach Clark and had a great guest from Children's Harbor. So it's just and he tells the story of how the game came together and how much that has meant not only to the players, but to the children that are honored at the game. So don't forget to tune that in tonight at 6 o'clock as the Bill Clark Show. You can watch it on YouTube and you can hear it right here on Jocks 94.5. I've had a lot of people text me asking me about the SEC tiebreaker. It's a mess right now, but I can tell you that this is the breakdown if things were to happen right now. I'm not going to give you the teams. I'm just telling you these are the numbers of the tiebreakers and how it would go. Head-to-head competition between the tied teams. That's goes without saying. That's almost in any tiebreaker. Record versus all common conference opponents among the tied teams. That's number 2. If you get past that, it's the record against the highest or the best placed common conference opponent in the conference standings. Example, you got 2 teams, well, let's say 3 teams, tied for the top position. Then when you go down to team number 4, and then you would look at the record against that particular team. If you get past that, then you go to the cumulative conference winning percentage of all conference opponents among the tied teams. If you get past that, it's the capped relatives total scoring margin versus all conference opponents among the tied teams. And if you were to get past number 5, it becomes a random draw of the tied teams. That is what I want.
Oh, yes.
I want a made-for-television event on the SEC network. I want Paul Feinbaum to fly from Charlotte to Birmingham. I want him in the office, and I want him mixing up all the names of the teams in the big lottery ball machine, and then Greg Sankey pulls out the winning team.
And then like we get for the college football playoff selection show, you have live shots of all of the teams in contention, and you get the immediate reaction when the ping pong ball is pulled of heartbreak. Oh, be beautiful.
Yes, you've got
so entertaining.
You've got multiple boxes of each coach.
Yes.
And just watching their level of disgust when their team is not picked or picked. It might be somebody like, you know what? I don't need to go to the SEC championship game. I mean, I'm pretty good. I'll take the week off. I feel pretty confident my team's going to be in the college football playoff. Why do I need to go play in Atlanta and risk losing my quarterback?
I would just love to see from the gambling perspective how deep in the weeds people would get. Well, based on how many rotations of the ping pong balls, this one has the best chance.
There will be a wager.
Oh, yes.
Like who's going to win the random draw for the SEC championship game.
It would be glorious.
So if you get past number 5, you're going to go to the random draw. Meanwhile, in the ACC, if you get past number 5, they're going to go to the super secret sports resource that they're paying for.
I don't want to just come out in a headline after random draw it's selected. This has got to be a made for TV event and really play it up. I agree with you guys.
Like you want him to go full LeBron James decision production levels.
Why not?
So you want like Tuesday night production, like the presidential election. Like
I want Tuesday night
production.
I want you guys to spend 55 minutes breaking down why all of these teams are deserving. And then for the last 5 minutes, you reveal it and then have immediate reaction and then even carry it into bonus coverage.
And then like Tuesday night, will there be legal proceedings after the draw?
Would not surprise me.
I mean, we all know that's happening, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what side, if you're blue or red, whatever. I mean, lawyers will be the biggest winners after Tuesday.
Yeah. I've seen interesting things in my life with the I guess the election with hanging chads.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Bush and Gore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That went on for a very long time.
That was a Halloween costume, a hanging chad.
Yes, I remember that. Very much so.
Good old days.
Everybody needs to get out and vote.
Yep.
So
exercise your right.
When we come back on three-man front.
Take care of our environment, global warming.
We'll do some Pat Ponders and some other things, including Kevin Todd will join us from VegasMistake.com. That's next on Three-Man Front. It is 1:31, Jocks 94.5 on this Thursday. Man, we got some great games coming up this weekend. And joining us from VegasMistake.com, Kevin Todd joins us on the program. Kevin, I hope you've had a good week so far.
We have, Pat, and like always here at VegasMistake.com, we identify where Las Vegas has made the mistake on the dog each and every week, whether it's pro or college. And let me tell you, folks, I have found a 7-point dog in college football where the odds makers made a huge mistake. I am giving it away for $11. That's right, people. You heard me correct. $11 for this one big play. What you would do after you sign up, you put 75% of your bankroll on the +7, and you put 25% of your bankroll on the money line. When you're dealing with a 7-point dog or more, folks, usually you're getting 3-1 on your money. So if you were a $500 bettor, you would put $400 on the +7 and $100 on the money line, which would be plus basically $300. So you would make a $700 win here with this game this weekend. All you have to do is go to VegasMistake.com and sign up, or give us a call at 866-441-2711.
For those that have been listening to this segment each Thursday, Kevin is hot as fire. Let's talk a little college football. Ohio State is in Happy Valley taking on Penn State. This is a very interesting game, a big top 5 matchup.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I believe Ohio State has won the last 7 times they've played Penn State. But let me tell you, folks, right now, it stops this weekend. I like Penn State here, plus the 3 points, not just to cover, but to beat Ohio State outright. Let me tell you why. They are 6-2 against the spread as a home dog when they are undefeated, including 3-0 against the spread against Big Ten teams. I like Penn State here a lot, folks, taking the 3. They will win this game outright.
All right, you like Penn State outright against the Ohio State University. Texas A&M coming off a huge win, the only undefeated team left in the Southeastern Conference in conference play. They're in Columbia, South Carolina, taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks coming off a bye. Is this a trap game, Kevin, in regards to the A&M Aggies?
Well, before I get into this game, let me tell you folks again, I have my top play this weekend, a 7-point dog, in my opinion, that's going to win the game outright. It's $11, folks. I'm giving it. We're in November, the 11th month. I'm giving it to you for $11. All you need to do is go to VegasMistake.com and sign up, or give me a call at 866-441-2711. I'm telling you, sports bettors, let me help you. I'm here. I don't care whether you bet big or whether you bet small. For $11, you need to take advantage of the situation right now. I'm telling you, in my opinion, this game as a 7-point dog is going to win the game outright. And let's talk about this South Carolina-Texas A&M game. Do I believe it's a trap? Listen, I like South Carolina here plus the 3-2. I think they're going to win the game outright. This team, I know they had a bad game, I believe against Mississippi is the only game that they got really blown out by. But if their other 2 losses, they were close losses. But let me tell you, and I know A&M is probably going to go with that backup quarterback who last week who ran all over. I forgot who they played last week.
LSU.
Yeah, they ran all over LSU last week because they were dominating that game until the first half. Once they made the quarterback change, they couldn't figure it out, and they ended up blowing that game, LSU. But South Carolina, folks, they have a defense, and they have a very good defense. Catching the 3 points at home, I think, is a gift. They're going to win the game outright. But the clincher here, gentlemen, is Texas A&M is 2-10 straight up and 9-2-1 against the spread in its last dozen road games, including 0-8 straight up and 1-6-1 against a team that has a winning record. Listen, I like South Carolina here in the upset. What about you guys?
No, listen, we think it's a very dangerous game, trap game indeed for A&M. The number to VegasMistake.com is 866-441-2711. And once again, tell everybody about this incredible 11th-month deal that you got going on right now.
That's right, folks. It's November. It's the 11th month, and I have a dog for $11. All you have to do is go to my website, VegasMistake.com. This dog, in my opinion, is going to win the game outright. This team is getting no respect, and I'm telling you, catching the points is a gift. Like I said before, go to VegasMistake.com or give me a call at 866-441-2711. And as always, Pat, thank you and have a good weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you. That is Kevin Todd joining us every Thursday here on Three Man Front. He likes Penn State and South Carolina straight up. More Three Man Front on this Thursday, the Halloween edition, Three Man Front on Jocks 94.5. All right. So, earlier we were talking about being kids and going and trick-or-treating and how somebody will just like put the candy out on the front porch.
Yes.
And basically they'll put a sign up and they'll say,
take one, take
One
two,
per child.
whatever.
Okay. So Steve Robertson, he covers Mississippi State for Gene's Page, which is the 247 site for Mississippi State. Molly, I'm going to show you the picture that he has just posted from his front porch. Would you like to read that to the audience?
Only one glam cassette per child?
He's got cassettes in a jack-o'-lantern.
What kind of, is it just a random assortment of
like Kiss and
different artists?
Yeah. Who do you see in there? Kiss?
Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison.
These are good cassettes.
I'm about to say, I'm about to head over to Starkville.
I was about to say, I'll take some.
Oh, did you see something that...
No. It looks like it's Photoshopped, though.
Well, even if it's Photoshopped, I will say this. It's pretty funny.
Do people still use cassettes?
I mean, most people have to have a special...
I was about to say, I feel like if you're going to go that route, you probably, if you're that much of a audiophile, then you have a record player and you listen to vinyl, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're just a collector or something. But that is cool. Those are,
creative.
Kind of antiques almost. Getting there.
Did you see what Nike did with their ad for the Dodgers?
No, I did not.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you have to.
Oh, that is cool.
Does it involve Ohtani?
No,
it does not.
it's the look. You can see it from here. It's the Hollywood sign.
Okay.
And the D in Hollywood is blue.
I like that.
For Dodger blue.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. All right, let's do a Halloween edition of Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC.
Wanna know what you're thinking? Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trustful. Go by and see them. Located off of exit 32, I-459 in Trustful. CourtesyBirmingham.com. All right, question number 1. It's kind of a two-parter. Which SEC team has been the biggest trick this season, and which one has been the best treat of the SEC season?
Ooh, a trick for me. We got options here, but I will go.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay.
Biggest trick. The Ole Miss Rebels.
I'm going to go trick. I'm going to go Oklahoma.
Good one.
The biggest treat.
Texas A&M.
I'll go Vanderbilt.
It's a good one.
What was your trick?
I'd probably go Oklahoma. Landrum's just scared by the music. So
he is. He's
biggest treat. Let's go. You know what? All things considered, Arkansas.
Arkansas. All good choices.
I just want to double up. But Arkansas is a good one.
All right, question number 2.
Hear all those voices in your head, Landrum?
Which of these current or past SEC head coaches have had the most Halloween-inspired costumes? Hugh Freeze hospital bed, Kalen DeBoer T-shirt on sideline, or Bobby Petrino neck brace?
That was a great costume about 15 years ago. It's an excellent costume.
So the question is, which of those current or past SEC head coaches have had the most Halloween-inspired costumes?
Yeah, I would go Petrino with the neck brace because it truly was an accessory to a costume because he didn't really need it.
Yep.
Whereas Hugh Freeze was actually in a hospital bed and Kalen DeBoer actually chose to wear that shirt on purpose.
I think it's the neck brace, too, because you'll still see that every once in a while. At least once a year, someone doing that for their Halloween costume.
Yeah, I would go Petrino because the Hugh Freeze, that's more of a meme. That's a, you know, how sick are you? And then you send a picture of Hugh Freeze in the bed. You know, it's more of a meme than a costume.
Okay, so Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3.
That'll always get a laugh, too. I mean, that's a guaranteed great costume.
Does candy have to be, let me reread that. Does candy have to be chocolate based for it to be on the Mount Rushmore of Halloween candies?
No, most of my favorite candies don't have chocolate in them.
No, I don't think. No. Mm-mm.
I think it depends on the person, but no.
I
Depending
think you
on what
need
you
a,
like.
Yeah, and I think if we're doing the Mount Rushmore, you need a
So what is
variety.
okay?
Right?
So what's on the
Right,
Mount
yeah.
your Mount Rushmore of Halloween candy?
Ooh, for me, sweet tarts,
No, that's mine.
sour gummy worms.
Okay.
I know I'm allergic to peanut butter, but I've had them before. Snickers. I'm not supposed to eat them, but they're good. They're good.
Look at Conrad's costume. Oh, his face is swollen and he can't breathe.
Yeah.
He's got EpiPen. He's fine.
And then I would probably, I'm basic. I'd go like Skittles. I like Skittles.
So the only thing that was remotely chocolate would be a Snickers.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if we're doing a real Mount Rushmore, I guess Reese's, because that seems to be the most popular. Yes, this is when he stabs the victim.
Yes.
As someone who has had
Yes.
to buy candy, as many of you have, to hand out, and I try to impress the kids. Reese's is an all-time favorite for most kids. I did get the request, and I bought the giant ones, not the enormous ones, but I bought the giant size one year, and I did have a kid that asked me if I had anything left that did not have peanuts in it. Going back to what Conrad said. And I didn't, and I felt bad, and I went into my change drawer, and I got like $5 in quarters and gave it to him.
Oh, that's way better.
So he could go buy his own.
There you go.
Next question. Better Halloween movie series, Scream or Halloween?
Never
Ooh.
seen them.
Totally.
Ooh,
Here's
so
the thing.
different.
So different. I really appreciated Scream because of the comedic value that was there.
Correct.
It made fun of horror movies, and it had some, you had some actors that I was very familiar with. Besides Jamie Lee Curtis, not a whole lot of people that from that original Halloween. But as far as true scary, Halloween series by far.
Yeah, I would probably go Halloween, and part of that too is the newer Halloween movies are actually good. So that helps a little bit that it's still relevant now because they're coming out with actually good movies now. Where I think the first Scream movie's good, and the other ones are entertaining. But yeah, overall, I think Halloween. It just feels more Halloween-y. It's scary. Someone trying to break in and spook you.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I don't
There's
like
something
it.
in a
I
box.
don't
There's
like
something
it.
in a box, and
it's right
something's
next to
moving
me.
around, and it's got holes cut in the top.
Might be a raccoon they caught.
Oh. Maybe it was the, what was it? The beaver that was down there?
There's no way there's anything because Todd just stuck his 2 fingers in the holes to drag
Todd
it.
wouldn't do that.
There's no way. He's too much of he's too responsible with his fingers.
That was even better than what you really wanted to
I know.
say.
All right, next question. Scariest or the most suspenseful movie you have ever seen?
The scariest movie that I've ever seen is Hereditary. It's a very scary movie.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's very good. It came out like 5 or 6 years ago. It's about a family. Grandmother dies, and she like essentially haunts the family. It's real weird.
The creepiness of Children of the Corn.
Oh, Malachi.
Don't even say that name.
Corn.
How about you, Molly?
Probably Saw. One of the. I hate those.
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
Ugh.
How did you get suckered into going and seeing that?
Some friends made me in high school on Halloween one year.
Mm-hmm. You didn't want to be alone.
And yeah.
Was
I
it at
hated-
least the first one?
I don't remember. I just know it was one of them, and I despised every moment of it. So
We can tell.
I hate scary. I am not a scary movie person, as you can tell.
So what do you partake in Halloween in any way?
Yeah, I love Halloween. I just don't like scary movies.
So what do you do as a young adult for Halloween?
I like Hocus Pocus. I love that movie.
You go to a salad bar?
Yes.
All right, final question.
Pat, do you have kids that come to the house? I know that we kind of briefly, you didn't really.
Not anymore.
No?
I mean, because most of the kids
scared
in my
them off.
neighborhood, well, no. Most of the kids in the neighborhood are my kids' age. And, of course, they're well past the point of trick-or-treating.
Did I ever tell you about the haunted house that I went to? It was an actual house. It was a haunted house out in the back of a house in Texas. And they had a monkey.
Don't like that.
They had a monkey that bit somebody's finger.
Oh, no.
Are we sure this was a haunted house?
Hmm.
You
It
remember
was the
story.
special teams
Yeah.
coordinator's house.
Yeah.
Pole monkey.
The pole monkey. Remember this? That's how the controversy. Well,
Oh, yeah.
that's not the original controversy.
No, but
But the pole monkey biting
is
stuff.
that?
What was that?
an ad.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? As much as I hate scary movies, I actually did work a haunted house one time. in high
Yeah, didn't you
school.
say you were a zombie
I
or
was
something?
a zombie. Yeah.
The first Exorcist, that was.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Oh, I hate those movies too. That and The Conjuring. Oh,
Ooh, Conjuring's good. Yeah, those are scary.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, final question of our Halloween edition of Pat Ponders. What was your all-time favorite Halloween costume that you wore?
Oh, man. When I
Okay.
was a little kid, what? No,
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No,
Go ahead,
seriously,
Molly.
both of you go ahead.
I was in, I think, 6th or 7th grade. My brother was in college. He was at Iowa. And it was like one of their home football games that was right around Halloween, either right before or right after. And it was Parents' Weekend. And everybody going to the game was dressing up in Halloween costumes. And I obviously wanted to join as well. I think, again, I'm like 11 or 12. And I was like, I want to be Where's Waldo? Because that would be funny, like me being in a stadium,
Yeah.
being Where's Waldo. The amount of pictures I took and the amount of times I was shown on the Jumbotron, I was even shown on TV a few times as well. I felt on top of the world. It's probably that one.
There you
Or
go.
one year when I was in college, I forgot a Halloween costume, and this was the Halloween after the Bucks won the Super Bowl. And so I dressed up as Tequila Tom, like super last minute. And that was a very popular costume.
That's
as
a good
well.
one. I know. I was just going to say one time when I was a kid, I dressed up like the dude from Saw and rode around on my bicycle around the neighborhood.
That's good.
And I had like the face paint on and all that. And I thought that was really funny because I was like way too young to have seen one of those movies, but I thought it was hilarious. And then when I was a little kid, I was Sully from Monsters, Inc., the big blue guy.
Yeah.
And I had a a costume for that. What?
No, you guys are actually giving innocent, nice like costumes that you've worn in the past. I was in
the guy from
college
Saw.
now. Granted, I was in college,
Oh, no.
and it was a big movie around the time that I graduated high school.
Oh boy, I think
Oh,
I
no.
think I know where you're going here.
I went as Dirk Diggler.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Molly's Googling.
Be careful. Are you on the Wi-Fi here?
Do I need to put on my hotspot?
I don't know. It depends on what site. If you just do a Google search, I think you're okay.
Okay. You guys just really scared me.
No, it got a lot of attention at a band party. So it was a good costume. I did have some accessories with that one.
Well, see, I was going to ask, but I'm glad you volunteered that information.
I knew you were going to, or you were thinking
It
it. and I
says
thought
site
I'd go.
cannot be reached on Google, and I typed
yeah.
that
That's
in.
probably for the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
probably for the best. That is today's Pat Ponders, the Halloween edition.
I was Snoopy as a 3-year-old.
A little bit of difference there.
A little bit of a difference.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville, courtesybirmingham.com.
Oh, text line is open 205-834-9450. And we're getting Scariest Movie You Ever Saw. Scariest Movie I Ever Saw, First Exorcist. Thank you, Drake. We appreciate that. Michael says 1979 version of Salem's Lot, by far the scariest movie he had seen. I saw the newest Salem's Lot. I didn't think it was that bad. B-Rad says Conrad should be Freddie Freeman for his costume.
I'll stick with Spencer Strider. That's what you wanted me to be last year.
Really good.
Meanwhile, speaking of that quickly, as I told you last night, teams can start doing stuff, Major League Baseball. The Braves have just traded Jorge Soler.
Okay.
He had 2 years remaining, $26 million. He has just been traded to the Los Angeles Angels.
Okay.
And in return, starting pitcher Griffin Canning is coming back to the Atlanta Braves. He is projected to earn $5.4 million in his final year of arbitration. So his young pitcher, Griffin Canning, is coming to Atlanta in exchange for Jorge Soler.
Okay.
Canning make a difference next season?
Can he?
It's uncanny, his delivery. Okay. 2024 stats. He was 6-13, a 5.19 earned run average.
Woo!
130 strikeouts. Oh boy. You unloaded some money, so that means
Yeah.
That was, I think that was a contract move. Yeah.
Yeah, because Soler was going to make around 13, 14 million this year. So,
Canning, sorry, you're going to have to change your jersey number because that one's been retired. He wore number 47. That would belong to Tom Glavine.
He's pretty good.
He was all right. From what I can see, better than Griffin Canning. But Canning's young.
I'm sure he's only got 200
Viejo,
or something
California.
wins left to catch Glavine.
That's right. Want all of you to be safe, responsible tonight, but have fun. Make sure to inspect all of your candy. 21 Faces, Japanese crime ring. We learned about that. We learned so much today on this show, Pat.
We inform and entertain here on the program.
We try to do it every single day. Happy birthday to one Nick Saban. These clips just get me every time. Paul Feinbaum, the Paul Feinbaum Show is next.